Right, welcome to Rambling Achieved. As you can see, today is not a solo video. We got Brandon back in the building.
Appreciate you for having me, big dog. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and not only is it going to be, you joining, it's kind of like a return almost of something else where I can't remember what was the chronological order. I don't know if we did a podcast on your channel and then I was doing one on mine because we did about 6 episodes. Because I remember Moan Dane popped on
Yeah.
for one of them, maybe two of them, and
Yeah.
and then we obviously moved back with the Game and Ramble stuff last year. So this is just going to be kind of picking back that torch up because I do miss it. I like obviously when we hop on and we knock out like a miscellaneous topic, but this felt like, how would you describe it? It just feels like home, almost, of like a homely feeling of I just enjoy a laid back chat. Just
For
knowing
sure,
that there's
man.
nothing like we're gonna obviously talk about different shit. We got loads of different stuff that we handling, but like it's just it doesn't feel as pressured. I don't know if you feel the same way. I know you probably look at things differently, but when it's like one topic thing, I just feel like you kind of have to keep zoned in on that a lot, and it's kind of more
hmm
difficult to veer away. Whereas now it's just like, yeah, deal with
Yeah.
it.
I've always said like podcasts are my favorite form of content to do, without a doubt. I understand it's hard to get that out there to people, like trying to, hey, will you invest 3 hours into the show you don't know anything about? It's like I get it's a tough task, but at the same time, it's the most fulfilling, most rewarding. Like after you finish a podcast, you're like, damn, you get recharged a little bit. Because whenever you're just sitting here talking to a wall, like you're hoping that people tune in whenever you put it out there, but in the meantime of actually recording it, you are literally just talking to a wall. And sometimes I like talking to a wall, but I'd much rather talk to a human.
Yeah,
And so,
it's funny that you do that because obviously I've been doing a more like many more solo stuff, and it is that kind of thing. Like you're talking to yourself, and that's fine because, like, for instance, I just did like a ranking every Souls like I've beaten,
Mhm.
tier list and stuff like that, and like that's all well and good. Um, but like it would be just elevated further had like it's always the thing if you had somebody else there alongside who had also played them Souls likes, there's going to be something that you're going to miss, or there's going to be
Yeah,
like a interjection of a question that would just elevate that video that next step further because obviously you're trying to get through it. It was something crazy. I think it was like 24 souls like, so I'm having to like rattle through them in like 2 minutes, a minute a piece and stuff like that because you don't want to obviously make it like a 7, 8, fucking 10-hour video. You want to get
yeah,
through it in some level of pace. But yeah, it's just I've always enjoyed when we was doing stuff and then like you're talking and then because like you said, it also helps with having a natural break in stuff.
totally.
Because when I'm talking, I feel my voice going. I'm like, oh fuck, need to pause, need to take a drink and stuff. And it then your train of thought can kind of go as well because you're not in the moment and stuff like that. So it's just yeah, it's so much fun making this stuff. I'll always be
Totally,
thankful
dude.
for the push that you gave me to and giving me the opportunity. So
Dude, hey,
thank you, my dude.
I knew you were gonna be great at this for a while, and I just always love shooting the shit with you about games because you're so damn knowledgeable about games. So it's like, yeah, it's iron sharpens iron, and I definitely feel that way whenever we podcast. Like I've told you 100 times, if we lived in a perfect world and I was some billionaire, I'd pay you full time and we'd just do this every fucking day and not give a damn about view count, not give a damn about any of that, and just have like that's like, you know it, I kind of look at Game Informer and I'm like, damn, I'm so envious. Not to say they're not making any money. I want to be clear on that. I have no idea their financials, but like they are in a spot where they're owned by some parent company who is seemingly just letting them be Game Informer, create the content that they want to create, and profitability doesn't seem to be the top priority. It seems to be more about like understanding the importance of games media. Who knows how long that mindset lasts? Because we know corporations flip their mind in an instant, and any kind of you have one bad quarter, and then there goes the entirety of Game Informer because the whatever mobile game that the company, the parent company,
Yeah.
is working on, Flounders or whatever. But you know what I mean?
The greed that feels like it just comes out of nowhere, because like the thing that I always think back on is like the zero punctuation thing. Like a lot of their other stuff that they had over at the Escapist, it didn't do good. Like he always dwarfed the numbers,
Mm.
but like don't piss off your main guy, dude. Like don't rattle that cage, because it showed immediately. He was like, well, I'll just quit and I'll quit with everybody that's like I enjoy working with, and we'll just go somewhere else. Like you will not survive without us. And they called the bluff, and they walked out, and they just died overnight. It was
Yeah.
crazy. Like I maybe I haven't paid attention, but I'd never seen like a fallout like that with like a YouTube thing, and just seeing it happen in real time of like something happened. They came out, they all spoke their piece, they left. The escapist was left like headless, and then they started doing gambling videos, and now they're shutting down like
Hmm.
the like you had the winning formula and you blew it,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't make any sense.
It's so crazy too. Like, did you see the review debacle with Resident Evil 9 and the AI reviewer for, I don't remember which website it was, but they literally had AI review the game, and
It's
Metacritic
happened
was
a
like,
few
dude,
times now. Like that's the one that's kind of been picked up. I've seen that be like some people have like posted that and like have highlighted it, but it's never like gone further than like a few, like when you see like Twitter and stuff like that, it gets like 100,000 views or whatever. You can see like the view thing, and that was the one that really caught fire. But it's happened a few times now, and it's like, yeah, you should probably be putting something there, like, because that really does detract from the whole point of having a review website and trying to give like information and stuff. Because you can
right.
just, I know like AI can summarize stuff, but like, how is it even being? Is it just being like, study this video and review what you think, and then it's just like, well, that's it can't have an opinion. It's just
It can't
going to
have an
go
opinion.
around all these other websites and combine the opinion, and then you're gonna get an amalgamation of just random shit.
Well, and it's also like, dude, the whole idea of critic reviews is so that we can understand that this is a specific lane that's not being botted. You know,
Mm,
where if you go to user scores, like those are being botted to death. Like publishers will absolutely pay. And that's the thing where, people got it so backwards with the Mind's Eye conspiracy when the dude was like, there's a botting campaign coming after our game, and they're trying to take us down, and everybody's like, nobody does these botting campaigns. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You got the wrong information here. The botting campaign thing is real,
oh yeah,
but
review bombing definitely happens, but mine's like such a gem of a game. Like not as an actual game in of itself, but like what happened with it, what's still happening with it. The guy's still dragging his feet. I don't know if you've seen. They are
see, that's the
still
thing.
banging the drum about like espionage and stuff like that, and it's like you
That's the
just made
thing
a
is
bad
like,
game, man.
you made a bad game,
Mm,
and that's obvious with something like Mind's Eye. But there
mm,
are like, I think what I'm saying is like people just got the wrong information that they took from it. Wherever people are like, "Nah, these botting campaigns, that nobody's doing that. You just made a bad game." It's like, yes, the second part is true. You just made a bad game. The first part is incorrect. These botting campaigns are
mm.
1000% real, and so like that's why user scores mean fucking nothing to me. Steam user scores are I, I, I
You
mean,
could
no,
still
you can do
technically
that too.
manipulate it, but
Yeah,
it's a
because it was
lot
what was the game
more.
in China that
Mm,
they had where they had all of the like the different they tracked it back for the different phones. Like they had this full system planned out where they were going in, buying the game for all these different, accounts, and then review, what's the opposite of review bombing? Review, and I don't even know if
I
there's a
don't
term for it yet, but
review
there will
loading.
be soon. Yeah, it's and like I'm sure that publishers just I think this has been happening for a few years. I mean, at some point it'll get found out, and someone will be the one to really be nailed to the cross for it. But I think it's been happening for probably 4 or 5 years at this point. And on both ends. Like I think that I do genuinely believe that there are companies out there or some form of organization out there that is trying to review bomb certain titles. Like I do think that that's probably a real thing. I just don't think Mind's Eye. And even if like here's the thing though, even if that is the case with Mind's Eye, it's also a bad game, so it doesn't you have nobody defending it. Whereas say
Mm.
like something like Starfield. If that game, if there's some review bombing campaign for Starfield, which there might be, I have no idea. I don't really know who benefits from that, but like who cares? Say there is a review bombing campaign for Starfield. You do have millions of people who are out there defending Starfield because they enjoy the game. You know, like that doesn't exist for Mind's Eye. So the problem is like, sure, the review, if review bombing or if a hate campaign was sent out for your game, you would still have people defending your game if it was a good game. It's just not a good game.
Yeah, it's it's wild. The thing I also hate and really, really, really despise in the modern space is when people then review bomb something from like an update or whatever. Like it real I don't like that. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't like that whole cascading wave mentality because something that happened recently was like Space Marine 2 did like a an update and they've been pumping out like free content updates as well as like paid update and they've just like garnered like tons and tons of goodwill and then they kind of dropped the ball a little bit of like a it was like a voice pack basically and they kind of really they phoned it in. It was like AI. It wasn't really good
Mm.
and stuff like that. And then it's painted as if it's inherently evil. Like I get reputation damage and stuff like that, but like you're gonna ignore all of like 2 years worth of goodwill and the shit that they accomplished for like a minor hiccup, and then like really start it just that rubs me the wrong way. It's like I don't like the extremities that happen in gaming. Like it's either the end all be all of like greatness or like no shun it and hate it to like the ends of the earth and I really don't like that. Like there's healthier ways of displaying that surely like
Well, if it, that leads us perfectly into Crimson Desert, if you want to talk about that, start rolling into that, man, because I feel like this is the prime example of that, where you don't hear many opinions about this game that feel nuanced at all. Like it's either people talking about it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, or people saying like trash game. Yeah, it's like no, I don't think either of those of those two spectrums are true for me personally. Like I think
I
it's somewhere in the middle of both.
I would agree with you. I think though to ever so slightly backtrack to that original thing that's linking it to it's because of that. It's because of what it kicked off with the user scores and the reviewers being so what felt so distant. So then you have people who go on like campaigns of like really trying to defend something because they're trying to convince people no it's worth and it's like yeah, you can do that without like going to extremities and then being very tone deaf. Because the thing is like you said, there's people who are praising it, and like definitely the game is worth praising. There are many many aspects that this game is worth praising from top to bottom, but it's not flawless. I love it. It's my like easily climbing is like one of my favorite games of all time because it just scratches all the itches I like. Still have complaints about it. There's still things that they can go and improve on, and they have been, and they've been smoothing it off. But that doesn't mean that, for instance, like a very easy example, I don't feel like they're ever going to fix the narrative in the
No.
base structure. That would require like so much overhauling and so much money. It's not worth. It's not worth it because your main player base as well that are enjoying it, they don't care either. On top of that, like I don't it's not detracting my experience. Would it be nice if it had it? Yeah, sure. But like I'm enjoying the other aspects so much more. It would just be like a sweetened cherry on top. But you have, they're going and improving it still. But this is something that they could maybe address in like a DLC or something like that.
Just do a sequel. I mean, this game's massive. Like
Mm.
you probably should make another one, and but I just think that, I don't really understand where the campaign came from for like the crowd wanting to defend this game because they were upset by the reviews, but it's like, dude, it's at a 78 or something. Like it's a solid score.
The numbers are irrelevant. It's you have this mentality of there's a big divide between people hating games journalists and like outlets and stuff like that, and like when they feel like they've been ever so slightly like stepped on or out of like IGN like has always been clowned on by people. Like loads of people love to throw shade their way. So like any opportunity that they can get, and obviously hatred just travels further than love. And so there's just that like you always have perhaps a little bit strong of a term to use, but I think like delusional people have just they just make it their entire personality of the game and stuff like that. Like you saw it last year with Expedition 33. I love Expedition 33. I was my game of the year. I feel like it deserved it, but there were people who were aggressively shoving it in people's faces, and anybody who came and was like, "Yeah, it's not really. Well, you're tasteless. Or you don't have to.
Right.
Oh, it's the greatest thing." And it's like, yeah, I feel it's the greatest thing, as apparently do you, but like you don't need to like shit on other people's parade and stuff like that. Like, I feel that's kind of like what was going on there. They saw them review scores, and again, like nuance just seems to be non-existent in a lot of gamers because it's like you're looking at it through the lens of the 1.0 launch. These people have had it for early access as well. They've had like access to the like I think Paul Tassi was talking about. He's like, you don't know how good you got it. You got fast travel points. We didn't have fast travel points, and it's like, wow, that would heavily impact it if you're sitting there going, I have to ride all the way back to Hernand every single time I do a quest. There's no like, yes, they had
Well,
every
dude,
right to criticize it. It's the importance, and this is why I really, really hate numbered review scores because people just fixate on that. They don't read the context. What you need to be reading is why have they felt that that's a 79, and read the criticisms that they have and the positives that they have, and then be like, okay, yeah, that's kind of a measured thing, or it isn't. That's where they should be really casting your die. Don't just look at like a 78 and be like, wow, they've done it injustice.
well, and I mean, if you look at IGN giving it a 6, the dude put 100 hours into the game or 70 hours into the game and his save file got corrupted. Like, yeah, that's a 6, buddy. I mean, the 6 is probably generous. I don't even know. Like, I would have been, I can't even imagine how fucking
I can.
beyond pissed
Happened
off.
to me with Avowed last year.
Yeah,
And hence why
dude.
like I can love it for what it is, but like that's always going to leave a sour taste in your mouth. When
Hmm.
save corruption, man, that's a hard thing to come back from. Like
Yes.
even if you can turn around and be like, yeah, it's their job, and maybe they don't have like an attachment to the game, it still is just like they have to. It's their job to convey that. If that's a potential issue that the other millions of people can run into, you definitely voice that.
Totally,
Um,
dude.
so yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just the conversation's getting really weird to the point where, and not just with Crimson Desert, like with so many games, where I am starting to get those skeptical eyes where I'm like, I don't know if a lot of these people are people. Where I'm just scrolling through Twitter. Have you seen the one of the big talking points? And I've seen this circulated by accounts on Twitter dozens and dozens of times with mild to major virality, where I'm seeing people say this is the evolution of the open world genre. No check marks, no hand holding, no yellow paint. I'm like, are we playing the same game? I have been guided absolutely everywhere that you need to go when you're doing a quest. It tells you everywhere to go, just like a Ubisoft game, just like a Grand Theft Auto, just like it tells you everywhere to go, everything to do. It's there is an infinite amount of hand holding. It is like it is the exact same thing as Assassin's Creed. And like but I think that's totally fine. I don't mind that whatsoever. In a open world game that's this big, this scale, like you have to have that. Or why would you even create a main quest in general? Whenever you want to go and just wander off, then that's like a totally separate thing that you're engaging with. But whenever you want to hit the main story, you want to hit the main story. You want to go and like what are the handcrafted, quest lines that you generated, and like what is going on in here that you want me to see? Point me towards it. That's the point of a main quest. And then when you're not doing that, then it's like, sure, go off and run free and but like to say there's no hand holding, it holds your hand the entire. I finished the game. It holds your hand the entire way through the game, and that's how it should be for a massive open world game like this. But I don't understand where this narrative is coming from. That it's like not doesn't hold your hand. There's no quest markers. It's like yes, there is.
Yeah,
I don't.
that's just objectively wrong. The no quest markers thing. There is markers for everything. It shows you where to go. Yeah, that's wild. Um, like some of the puzzles can be a little bit obtuse, and that's where like you could maybe begin to like slightly open the door and try to argue from that standpoint of like there's no hand holding. But even then, like I've done a lot more of the like exploration puzzle stuff than you, I imagine, considering
Yeah.
I'm like 160 hours in and I've still not left Hanand. Like I've
Yeah.
basically, well, I have left Hanand, but I've not left narratively Hanand. I haven't even moved to Demonis yet narratively. Um, and there's a few things where you'll go to like locations and then you'll have a tooltip pop up and it will basically tell you what to do. And there are times where that doesn't happen, but that is the rarity. So you can't
Yeah.
project that as like that's the common standing of the game. Like there's maybe been 3 locations that are like huge and major that you would be like, yeah, that's like a chunky bit of content that I would say, yeah, maybe didn't hold your hand, but the rest of them did. And what you also find is once you find that solution, there's shitloads of activities that you do, so you don't feel like an overall repetitiveness. Like they do space it out so that you're not using the same solution for the very next thing you're doing and the very next thing. That's the thing that Ubisoft games get wrong, is that they do that a lot of the time. Like in the Assassin's Creed Shadows, you are kind of repeating the same formula as to how you're conquering the quote unquote puzzles. They do shake that up, but like yeah, a lot of the time, because once you've done that obtuse thing, you know that that's the solution. So when you then hit another wall of obtuseness and it doesn't, a lot of time it is just that same thing. So you've already learned how to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is. It kind of reminds me of. They're very similar to Souls-like players. They have a pride about this game. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but they
I don't
feel
understand why.
like an elitist mentality.
This
Um,
is not that. That's the thing that confuses me, though. It's like, this is not that game. It's not challenging. It's not. I mean, it can get challenging at times, but it's not like they give you infinite revives. You
mm,
can revive yourself at any given time. And
there's
later in the game,
multiple layers to that as well. I don't know if you
yes,
like you have your revive consumables that are finite that you find out in the world. You also have just like a retry button, which will then give you back all your revives and all
yes,
your stuff so that you can retry the fight from the beginning, or you can basically go, yeah, I quit, and then it spawns you elsewhere with all of your stuff that you consumed back in your like it's so unbelievably forgiving.
Loom.
There's challenging fights, I won't say there isn't, but like this isn't like brutal punishing levels of like, oh, you screwed up, go farm all that shit again. Like they have been so unbelievably kind. They've been even like adding in more and more fast travel, like everything that they can do to smooth out the experience. And I've seen people a similar thing. I don't know if you followed KCD1 when it first came out, and you could basically only save with the savior schnaps if you were out and about. You couldn't save
Yep.
and quit. And there was an elitist mentality of people going, "Well, don't change that. This is the game. That's how you designed it." And it's like, yeah, but like in principle, when you're sitting in like a design room, and that makes sense to you if you've just been in that little bubble. But to the average consumer, you're telling me you want them to as a average adult, ride all the way into the nearest town, and they got to ride all the way back because their kid's crying in the other room, and they need to save and like go and do something. Like, come on,
Yeah.
guys, fucking be reasonable. Like,
Yeah.
that ain't
It's
it, Chief.
and not to even mention like I this isn't a spoiler, but like later in the game, they give you a 100% revive, like where you get 100% of your
Mm.
health back and you can craft it endlessly.
Hmm.
It's like uh, guys, this is not the game that you think it is. This is not the game that you want to champion as like your, the game that you attach your pride to, or the game that you make your I mean, you can make whatever the fuck you want to make your personality, but like it's not that it's not this it's no more or less punishing than Assassin's Creed or Red Dead 2, or like it's in that same camp. Like they wanted to make a very mainstream accessible game, and like kudos to them for doing that. They did a great job doing that. Like it's a fun fucking game. I don't want to sit here and sound like
No, no,
I
and
dislike the game, but I just kind of dislike the conversation around the game.
no, and they're even you can tell because this is the thing as well is that when Miyazaki was asked to like make it easier, and he's like, no, because that's his design philosophy. They were given feedback and they've worked on it immediately. Oh, you like I saw people bitching that um when they did the stamina reshuffle so that you could glide for longer, and there were people like, no, that's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. You know, it's meant to be meaningful when you're doing these short fights. And it's like, they've given you a flying mechanic and you just want to utilize it for like 15 seconds. Are you out of your fucking mind? What is wrong with you people? You're just going to disregard the fun because you want things to be more obtuse and
I
in all honesty, poorly designed. I'm
no.
gonna go that far. Having a flight mechanic and a thing where you're able to pull back a tree and shoot yourself up, and then you can only fly for about half a second and then you plummet. Like, behave, please.
Yeah. And it's like I don't want to spoil anything for you, but that there's some late game shit that yeah, it's in that similar camp, and I hope people complain about it in the same way they complained about the stamina and all that, so that that shit can get patched out as well. Because it's like after finishing the game, I kind of sat there and I was like, oh man, I this is very unfortunate. Yeah, it's hard to just talk around it. We'll talk about it once you finish the game, but it's yeah, it major league bummed me out because I was thinking that I was going to go and explore and use this thing and like just have a real fun time with it. And it's like, nope. It's like, guys,
Yeah, I think I know. Out of curiosity, because this could be considered a spoiler. So if you don't want to know this information, skip forward a little bit of time. I'm assuming when you finish the story, you can continue. This isn't like a fucking it cuts the credits and then it slams the door shut, right?
yeah,
Okay,
you
thank
can
God.
continue. Um,
Alright.
and it's,
It's just ripping things away from you that it's given you, is what I'm assuming.
yeah, and it's like, you already know, it's the dumbest thing where I feel I've been so conditioned to avoid spoilers because every time I talk anything that's like mildly spoiler related, I get people in the comments mad at me, so I just try to avoid spoilers at all costs. But this
Hey,
is
it's right
something
if I
that
can do it. I get some more viewers apparently. Then that way, get some commenters, get some eyes on this, get some eyes on the sitch.
I mean, if you want me to say it, I will, but it's not like it's up to you.
Yeah,
It's
it doesn't. I when I cause when we were talking about it and stuff like that, you was like, "Oh, my bad. I didn't know that." Like, you obviously played a shitload. I thought you'd be a lot further on. It's like, no, man, I really do snails pace games, especially the ones I love. So again, if you don't want to hear any of this information, just skip ahead a portion. But yeah, it's I view this more as a sandbox game. I don't think any of the narrative I've felt thus far has been above like a 6 out of 10. So I truly have no attachment to it whatsoever. So
and this isn't even a narrative. I mean, yeah, it's not even a narrative thing. It's something you already know about. So I'll just say it's something that everyone watching this already knows about. you get a dragon in the game. You
Hmm.
have to wait until the very end of the game to get that dragon.
Hmm.
And then once you get the dragon, you can ride it for 15 minutes, and then there's an hour-long cooldown where you can't ride it.
Yeah, it's
And I'm like, you saw that?
yeah.
And I'm like, guys, who are you making this game for? It doesn't make any sense. Players already finished it. I would understand to say, hey, look,
Yeah, if
you
it was at the
cannot use the.
beginning, don't do that because then you'd be able to blitz through the game. Because I've seen that you can
Yeah.
attack with it and it easily shreds like outposts and stuff like that. But like when you're at the end of the game, that's meant to be, especially a game of this length as well. Because like I think you're in the. Have you seen the statistics of like it being the most played game on like PlayStation and Xbox and stuff like that? Like people are averaging something ridiculous like 20 plus hours a week,
Hmm.
which is like topping things. So like there's a ton of people who are also, they've already done the side stuff as well. Like they're taking their fucking sweet ass time. So by the time they get to it, just let them enjoy it. What does it matter if they, for instance, as an example, I do everything there is possible to do in Hanand and Demonis, and then I go and mainline the story, and then I use that dragon to clear everything in the Crimson. That's still hundreds of hours like that I've spent. It's not like I'm skipping stuff. Like, yeah, I think they'll probably amend that and change that because they
Yeah, I
have
think
been
so
listening
too.
to feedback. Like, I can, in some ways, understand wanting to put a limit on it. I do get that from like a design perspective of like you want to make it feel special, but at the end of the day, as well, there's always like a other side of that coin of like you've, have you not earned it, kind of thing. It's like the same reason they don't give you a dragon to fly in the beginning of Skyrim and stuff like that. You
Of
have cool
course.
like stuff that you earn later on and stuff like you don't. That's what kind of bummed me out with Fallout 4 giving you the power armor at the beginning. Getting that cool shiny thing kind of sucks, and I think that they mishandled that. Um, but yeah, when you're 200 plus hours, just let man ride his dragon, please.
Totally, man. Yeah, it's just the things that were in the trailer that were like big selling points for me was like the mech, the dragon, and I've
Mm,
been kind of disappointed by both, really. And but I guess we can talk about the positives because there are many with the game. I think the combat system is one of the best, period. Like one of my favorite combat systems ever in a game. I've
mm,
had so much fun just like I go and I buy all the Abyss faded artifacts from any time I'm interacting with a witch or a dealer who has one. I buy them and I just stack them up because I want to respec nonstop. I want to try out everything, man. I've fucked around with so many different builds. I've made a like full-blown archer, like a range specialist. I've gone and like I went to the witch and you're able to combine like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 artifacts and get like higher upgraded artifacts and you can get like destruction 3 where you do a ton of damage or you get like infinite arrows. So if you want to build an archer and lean into a ranged play style, you can do that. And then you can go and combine like explosive arrows or poison arrows with your infinite arrows, and you
mm.
can there's just so many fun play styles that as you're pressing in L3 and R3 and then doing like a charged up arrow shot, or as you're tapping the shit out of circle to evade, you're shooting arrows the entire time. Like there's just so many, and then not to mention the wrestling moves, which that's been the majority of the way I've been playing because obviously I'm such a fucking wrestling dork. But like the RKO and JBL's clothesline and body splashes and suplexes and belly to belly suplexes, German suplexes, like they had to have been real wrestling fans. Whoever wanted to incorporate that because they have like legitimate wrestling moves that are not the obvious ones. Where I'm like, who the fuck in here included the scissor kick? Booker T's scissor kick is in here. It's like that's a kind of niche pick to go and grab. Um, and drop kicking enemies off of mountains, and there's just
Mm.
so many fun ways to play. The yeah, having when you hold down R2 after you get someone, you kill a boss and you get their special ability, and you can like hold down R2 and then send crows out to attack
Mm.
enemy. It's just so fun to play. And I think that's another thing of why maybe I didn't find it as challenging as other people. And I've told you this before. It's like whenever I'm having so much fun, I don't even really think about the challenge. Like I'm getting my ass kicked, sure, and then I'm like relearning, but I'm just having so much fun, even in the process of getting my ass kicked because I'm experimenting and stuff. I will say a bit of a bummer that you can't really use your wrestling moves on a lot of the bigger bosses towards the end. But once again, I'm loaded up with these abyss faded artifacts, so I just respect my character and whichever way, like if the boss is immune to range damage, I respect to like a tank bully fucking melee build. If they're more resistant to melee damage, I respect to a ranged build. Like so it's just fun to mess around, man. I love the combat system so much.
Yeah, I've been a really big fan of it as well. I'm more of a creature of habit. Um, I don't think I've done any of the wrestling stuff because it's not really like an appealing play style for me personally. It doesn't call to me. Slightly dabbled in the range stuff. I've actually been using the spirit based stuff more. I've been using I had a great sword, and like you said, when you click right trigger, I've just loaded that thing up. So when I like slam down, it shoots out the fire orb, and then shoots fire at the person.
Hmm.
And that's just really damn good to just have that close the distance because obviously you're always all of the attacks also have like forward momentum a lot of the time. So like closing the distance when you're a tiny little bit out, and then obviously doing your supercharged attacks and stuff like that is really cool. But yeah, the I think what it is as well, because what's kind of like jogged my memory a little bit, maybe it's like people like me who are creatures of habit and then don't engage in systems because there's boss fights. Did you do? I don't know if it's mandatory. The Crimson Mist one go. There's like a fog boss
Yeah,
fight,
the red
and people
smoke.
were like, "This is the hardest thing ever," and it's like, just grab it. Like, it's that type of thing of like, I don't want that to come off sounding like an elitist mentality, but like when it's a thing you can't hit. It's like ethereal. They've given you tools. Should your brain not be thinking, okay, I'm trying to attack it with my sword and that's not working?
Hmm.
So don't keep doing that. Obviously, you're gonna keep failing. Like, try something else, shoot with an arrow and stuff like that. And like when I grabbed it with the thing and ripped it, and it's like, oh, you kill it in like 4 hits. And there's
Hmm.
people sitting there complaining like, this is an insurmountable challenge, and it's just like, can you just think for a minute, please,
Yeah.
guys?
Well, yeah,
Um,
that God hand thing actually works a lot in boss fights where,
yeah,
like a glowing eye or something that you rip
yeah.
out. And yeah,
There's
absolutely.
loads of like golem things, like golem structure things that you're able to like rip. Um, I won't spoil this, but we talked about it off the thing, so you know what I'm talking about. The big boss I was talking about before we started recording. There's like a bunch of stuff that you need to do with like your powers as like a puzzle boss, and that was cool. Instead of it just being like, because you could easily just make a lot of the bosses like, yeah, you can always attack them with a sword, and then they're just spongy, and that just doesn't. Yeah, maybe that would be nice for some people who want that, who don't want to like think outside the box. But I think it's just it does add a lot because there's
Hmm.
so many different, even just for that mist fight, like you learn how to like move your hands and then you're blowing wind and that clears the mist and stuff like that. There's so many different tools at your disposal that you're able to utilize. And then on top of that, what we were talking about with the abyss artifact things, the orbs that you slot in. Basically every single piece of gear in the game is like even playing field.
Totally.
You rip all the slot things off and they're 9 times out of 10 identical stats. So it's literally
Hmm.
just a palette. You just find something, and if you turn around and go, "Oh, I like the look of that," well, then that's your weapon that you'll be using, and then you just the real power comes from that. So that's really cool. I like that.
Hmm.
And there's no again, like they made a really good choice of there's no penalty. You're not charged a currency for taking these things out and experimenting and then combining and stuff. Like it's all really well done in that way. Like there's a ton of stuff where the game arguably does waste your time, and thankfully they don't apply that across the board for every single aspect in the game because then it would just be a tedious slog. But yeah, just really cool that it feels rewarding as well when you find them witches and you're able to be like, because it was interesting, like, oh, I found a gem thing that I want to put into the thing, and then you're like, oh, I can actually upgrade these, cool, and you can like combine them with other weird things and start creating your own gems and stuff like that. Like, there's
Yeah.
every system in this game. Like when you think you've had it like fully figured out, there usually is like a few more hidden drop down menus behind the scenes of being like, no, we can push this a little bit further. And like I really appreciate that. To just, as I said, it just scratches all the right itches for me. Um,
I The one thing I will say that's kind of a bummer is like I the more I experimented, the more I realized pressing R1 or holding R1 and holding R2 was just the best way to deal with most combat scenarios. Like it's fun to experiment,
mhm.
but in terms of efficiency, just holding down R1 or R2 and upgrading your stamina so that you can dodge and, defend for as long as possible seems like, unfortunately, the easiest way to get through pretty much everything. But once again, like if you want to experiment, the fact that the options are even there and you can kind of the mobs of enemies that are more Dynasty Warriors-esque that just run at you in hordes, you can experiment with them all day long and not really face any consequence. But with the boss, like you definitely need to I shouldn't say you need to. I'm sure you can upgrade your gear and equipment to the point where you can do whatever you want and face
Mhm.
no pushback. But for me, there were definitely bosses where there was some significant pushback. And whenever I went into respec, the thing I always ended up coming away with was, oh, it's just easier for me to put everything into like general attack power for my R1 and R2 attacks and hold R1, hold R2. And then whenever the boss is like charging up to do their super attack, defend or dodge endlessly. And like and then we didn't even mention you can go into these fights with 1 million healing items and there's no punishment for it whatsoever. Like it's not, it's a very forgiving game, but the combat system is just really, really cool.
Yeah, and like it what was fun as well is that it gives you these different abilities and stuff like that, and some of the things like it will give you your, so you have your skill tree, of course, and like what we've already highlighted is you get the little like ethereal grab hand thing, and they will tell you aspects that can be achieved with it, but they won't tell you, like they're not going to tell you every single thing you can do with it. And then when you find it out on your own, it's such a rewarding feeling. I don't know if like how much experimentation you did with that, where it was like that didn't tell me that I could do that with that, or you end
Yeah.
up figuring out like even if it does like an you just didn't read it as well, and you figure it out on your own. That was really cool. Um, and just yeah, really damn fun. Like they've there was criticism of the controls being really difficult, and I was that was because obviously you didn't play it straight away, and I think that was like something that you asked early on, and I was like, I don't feel like yeah, they're not like 100% simple, like not the easiest thing ever to pick up, but like you spend like an hour with it, and you kind of just if you've played games before, you're gonna piece it together. Like it's not difficult at all to really pick up and play.
No, no. I heard people talking about it takes you 10 hours to really
Mm,
get into it. I was into it by the first hour. I
mm,
liked the game by the first hour and never really found it to be this burdensome. Like it's not fluid, but it kind of feels like a Rockstar game in terms
mm,
of the movement, and it's maybe a little bit jankier and a little bit rougher around the edges in some parts, but it's also like I guess I would say that that would be another complaint is if you want to have this power fantasy, high fantasy game where movement is essential and crucial to your enjoyment and the fluidity of the character. I think you probably do need to tighten that up, opposed to where something like Red Dead is going to be able to get away with clunkier combat, clunkier mechanics in general, because just of the nature of the game being more grounded in realism and trying to be this simulation of life more so than the
Do you
silliness
think
of
that they
Crimson
could
Desert.
actually achieve that though? With how many things, like, there's so many buttons being spread, so many control things of like, does it have to kind of almost work this way to
I'm
function in
just
this
talking
way?
general movement. I think you can keep pretty much everything intact that is intact. I'm talking
Okay.
like just general movement. Like the you should place a different button to pick up items than what is your jump button. That is
Mm.
crazy. There's just little things like that where I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? The whole thing of like needing a precision jump to get around in certain spots, like especially when you're doing the sky puzzles and having like those platforming challenges and having to press L1 and square to do your jumps because there's no accuracy whatsoever, no precision whatsoever whenever you're just running and jumping. Those are things that could easily be ironed out. But it would probably take a sequel. That's probably not something you're going to rebuild in patches. But in the sequel, I think they could work that stuff out.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Right. Well, I wanted to highlight this. Did you? Uh, it feels like they kind of stole some music. Did you hear the music that they had? It was very like they had
Witcher,
The Witcher like
yeah.
almost 1 to 1 and KCD 2 almost one to
Mm.
one in areas and stuff like that. And that did make me like it's amazing music. But I was like, man, the stuff Bungie's been getting like thrown at like with the art things. You're riding that tightrope really damn fun. But like the music in the game is amazing. They have like really good varied music. I think each region has their own music. Is what I noticed because when I was exploring through the Crimson Desert area, it was playing like a completely different. Don't even know like what the word for it would be. Like beach music. When I was
Mm.
talking to Captain Corndog on the Discord about it, I was describing it as it had very reminiscent music to Divinity Original Sin 1. Whatever that, when you first landed and you're on the beach exploring, that had very similar stuff to that. Yeah, really cool music. Um, Kind of wild that
This,
they added so many camera perspectives as well. I do kind of
yeah.
respect that. Like
I love the
usually you
pulled
get
back one.
like a first person camera and then a third person. Like there's like multiple different versions. So that was kind of cool, and it's very much appreciated in buildings because it can be kind of clunky, as you said, with the movement and stuff like that. So it is nice to just pop into first person um, and be able to more efficiently loot rather than going back and forth. I also found it really easy to there was people like complaining about actually interacting with the loot and stuff like that. If you just hold out the lantern, you don't need to hold the button every time. It's just you hold the lantern and then you click the button instead. You're able to more precisely navigate through it.
But see, that's the thing, right? Where it's like if you just didn't have the jump button there,
Mm.
you know what I mean? That would be if you moved sprint to L3 and jump to X, square could be your loot button freely, you know?
What do they use the left stick for?
You can crouch, but you could still use crouch while you use
That
it for
would be a
God
lot
hand.
less annoying to crouch than to jump. I think. I think you'd
Yeah,
have a lot less more, a lot less infuriating moments. So yeah,
because you're never really crouching. There's
yeah.
not like real stealth mechanics. I mean, you have the dagger, but it's not like anything
Mm,
crazy. I don't even think if you removed it entirely, people would be mad.
mm. No, the stealth stuff isn't. It's probably one of the weakest aspects of the game. They didn't really utilize it either at all.
Mm-mm. It's not in a single mission throughout the main story. Like you never have to use stealth to take anyone. I mean, there's one assassinate, but you don't have to do it through stealth.
Mm. And then the stealing stuff. Did you interact with that? Because that was kind of balked as well,
Yeah, I
especially at
messed
the
around with it.
beginning. I don't know why they thought of like, if no one sees you, your reputation still drops because they know it was you, and it's just like kind of defeats the whole point of a fucking stealth. They're not meant to know it was me. How are they tying
Yeah.
this back to me every time?
And then having to equip the mask even if no one's
Oh
around you. It's
yeah,
like, the fuck are we doing, guys?
I
This is
get it
so
from like
weird.
you don't want to fat finger something in front of somebody and then you steal it and then everybody gets pissed off at you in town like it would in like a Skyrim, for instance, where
Mm.
you steal an apple and then you're the number one wanted criminal. But yeah, I think they kind of went a little bit the opposite direction and tried to baby that a little bit too much. It's like if no one's in the room, it should know no one's in the room, and just if I crouch, just let me steal, man. I don't think we need to go through a
Exactly.
fucking menu. And I'm so glad that they changed the vision thing as well. You used to have to
Yeah,
manually equip
yeah,
that
you
to
had to
see the
manually equip.
fucking. And it's just like, I'm glad that you guys are really damn quick at putting these patches out because boy, oh boy, you'd be getting flamed when people start finding these things. Because, oh, there's some bafflingly weird choices that you guys have done.
Yeah, it sounds like
Um,
the game the reviewers played is very, very different than the game we played.
Yeah, because it was like I said, you even came in later, so you had a few changes made to your
Yeah,
game. I was there from day. I was the middle ground
right.
between the reviewer and yourself, and like yeah, there was some choice things because oh what's his name? Destin Liguri, is that his name?
Yep, yep, yep.
He was talking about when you first get that vision thing, and you're meant to so obviously put your bow and arrow up to the brazier to light the arrow, and then it can burn away the vines and stuff like that. And during when he was doing it and when I was doing it, like yeah, it was real. It was made of like paper. Like if you bumped into it, like if anything but the arrowhead touched it, the brazier would just explode. And it's just like yeah, you probably should address that and not have that because he was like, well, I broke it. What do I do? And like there are other things like if you had been experimenting, you know that you can use the sword, which is
That's
always
what I did,
available and
yeah.
stuff like that. So like yeah, a little bit of blame placed on your shoulders for not figuring that out, but like that's the very first time that you're being introduced to that really.
Hmm.
So maybe
Yeah.
and they did, they addressed it and made the brazier indestructible there to
Wait,
teach him.
n no, that's the one. Yeah, I just dipped my arrow
Mm,
in the flame
yeah.
and
Whereas
it,
when we were playing, like if you even ever so slightly touched it, like it just broke.
it all okay. Wow.
And it's just
'Cause
like,
yeah,
yeah, not a good idea that.
I was doing that a lot early on, like dipping my arrow into flames if I
mm,
saw it and just like trying shit. Just and that's one of the fun things too is like it does feel like one of those games where you can just try shit, try just
mm,
see what happens. Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, I get as well, because we'll move on to like the quest variety and quality. I can see why people, when they first tried it out, would have been very disappointed. Like if you went in with no knowledge of what this game was, you didn't watch the trailers, and you're going off of completely word of mouth that it's amazing. That intro section makes the game seem like it's going to be a lot different when it puts you into that camp, and it's very inspired by Red Dead 2.
Hmm.
Like it's like if you had no knowledge, you're like, oh hell yeah, man, another Red Dead. Like if you're just a casual gamer and an enjoyer and stuff like that, and then something happens, and then it's just like, nope, it ain't that, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's kind of a whiplash and a very bizarre intro when when you get dropped into that moment of like, go do this random shit around the town, go clean someone's chimney, go give a coin to a beggar, go win an arm wrestling thing, and it's just like, why is this part of the main quest?
Yeah.
You could have done these as like, so I get like you're proud that you've accomplished all these like different things, and it's ingraining, putting the seed in your head that there's a lot of depth in this game. There's a lot of variety. There's think outside the box, but it was just like, I think people probably would have preferred a little bit of like a narrative hook other than like cryptic bullshit that you threw out there.
Yeah.
Um, of what happened, and then just like, oh, and now you're like a chosen one of a god, and you need to bring balance to the world, and then spat out on some riverbed, and some guy's like, "Hi, I don't know who you are, but let's go into town and go do arm wrestling." And it's just like,
Yeah,
sure, why not? Like,
it's definitely not a powerhouse narratively. Here's what I will say though, not to defend it, but to defend it, I guess, is like I felt the same way while playing Valhalla or Shadows, where it's
mm,
like this is really, really poorly paced. This is just not well written. And at least with Crimson Desert, it's at least very well voice acted. It's very well like the motion capture, full blown motion capture for pretty much every cutscene. Like there's a spectacle and a scale to what is happening in these cutscenes that are, I mean, I'm not saying Rockstar, Naughty Dog, but like not too many tiers below that. Like it's, and that's the thing that kind of bums you out is if the writing was better, the level of production value that's already in this game, if it was accompanied by good writing and solid character arcs and something to invest in, you're talking about I mean, for me, like as someone who really appreciates good questing and good writing, like that would bump this game up significantly for me.
it's literally the polar opposite of Mass Effect. I love Mass Effect's writing, and I think like when you dissect it in this way and you do look at it, they are just staring at you like that. There's no emotion. Like they will deliver lines and stuff like that, but like especially in like the first game, they kind of got a little bit better as time went on. But a lot of it is just
Definitely.
plain face. Just I'm Commander Shepard, and it's just that kind of like deadpan delivery. Whereas in Crimson Desert, like they have throwaway quests where you like go grab a pig and bring it back, and the guy's like throwing himself on the ground and like begging for you and all this over animated stuff, and it's like you've motion captured that for a guy that's asked me to bring back a pig. Why? And it's like I respect that, but like, yeah, it is just a it's so it's so camp as a game. It just reminds me of like Resident Evil 4 almost, and just like it's so silly in so many things, but it just you just love being in that world.
Hmm.
And they get a kind of a little bit better when we was talking off camera, talking about like the Grey Main camp quests. A lot of like the personality is kind of tied into them quests. The quests themselves are just terrible. They're nothing to like write home about. A lot of it is go to this camp because we've heard of where these Greymanes are, and then you meet them, and then they're very overly animated and stuff like that. And Cliff starts to show his own personality, which up until that point he's just a yes man,
Yeah.
basically. And then you bring them back to the camp. They usually have like a specific quest tied to each of these because they're all named characters. It's not just like go find this person, bring them back, and then it's just Greymane 7. Like you do have them that wander around the camp, but you have all these named people who have some responsibility. Because what I was talking to a friend with is that I respect that because it's what Fallout 4 did so wrong when they introduced Preston Garvey and he's like, "You're the leader of the Minutemen and go help this outpost." And you go to that outpost and there is nothing uniquely gained from gaining this outpost as there was to any other outpost. Whereas when you're gathering these people, it's you now have a ranch that you can now use. You now have the ability to dye your armor, and like they're giving you extra thing. And it's like for you, you didn't engage with that, so it's not stuff that you probably care about. But like for somebody who's going to be sinking their teeth in like and spending fucking shitloads, and you just want all of the mechanics and exploring every inch of the game, it's really cool to be like, oh, I can dye my armor now. Oh, I can change my hair. I can give him different tattoos now. I can do all of this stuff. Like I can customize him. I can do this. Like it's really cool.
So here's my thing, because whenever I was talking to you before, like whenever I was 10, 15 hours into the game and you were like, make sure to do these camp quests because it's going to allow you to defeat some of the later bosses, I think is what you said. Or you said it would
Yeah,
allow
it would
some of the
you were able to have a blacksmith very easily in your camp, so you didn't have to travel all the way into town every time because they weren't a travel point in town for a very long time. They added that later, so it was a fucking ball ache to get into like say Hanand and level up your gear. So it was nice to just have everything consolidated in the thing. So having a blacksmith there, having when you're donating resources, you get like high level resources given back to you and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it's not essential.
Yeah, so my thought process was whenever this game becomes too difficult,
Hmm.
I'll start doing that. I'll start like going to the camp, and since Loon was like, "Hey, you're probably going to want to do this for some of the later game bosses." Once I reach those bosses that become a skill check for me that I'm not able to get through, I'll go and start upgrading the camp. And I just never reached that point. Like I never reached the point where the bosses became too grueling. And like you said, thankfully the fast travel point is right there in Hernan, and I can go straight to the blacksmith and upgrade whatever I want whenever I want. And like it was a seamless thing. So I guess I didn't necessarily need a blacksmith at the camp. And like I don't care about gear really.
Mm.
Like yeah, I showed you my character. I'm still wearing fucking. I look ridiculous.
You had like
I don't.
full plate. You had like Iron Man's helmet. You had like full plate armor, and I can't remember what I said, but it just I don't know if I said this one, but it just reminded me of, like Adam Sandler, like sitting
Yeah.
at the Oscars, like or whatever it was, where he was just in like his basketball shorts, and that's what you had, like Adam Sandler basketball, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I don't care about gear at all. Like I don't care how my character looks whatsoever. I mean, if the story, like, see, there's the thing, right? If I really gave a shit about the story, maybe I would have, right? Maybe I would have been like, this is breaking my immersion a little bit looking at this goofy looking character. So, but even in Cyberpunk, well, like, first person, so I guess that's different. But I just kind of I picked an armor set early on in the game that seemed decent, and I got it from the dude in Hernan, the weapons manufacturer, the weapons dealer in Hernan, right outside the blacksmith shop. And I
Yeah,
grabbed the
good old
gear
Rhett.
there.
See, I remember his name. I done his quests.
Yeah, so I grabbed the gear and I just continuously upgraded that early game gear. Like I never, I mean, I probably got that gear 3, 4, 5 hours into the game, something like that, and I just upgraded that for the rest of the game. Never changed it out. It was like, uh,
You don't
but
have that loot goblin like mentality though, do you?
mm-mm,
Whereas like
no,
for
not at
me, like
all.
did you find out like waterfalls and stuff like that you can go into them?
Yeah, and
And
press
it's just like hell
stab.
yeah, man! I want all this fucking loot, and that's what I've been spent. That's what's taken so long. Is that damn right? I'm upgrading my camp. Gives me more storage. I got like 700 unique swords. I gotta go store in there, and it's just like that's. I just get a kick out of that. I just get a
Yeah,
kick
that
out
does
of
nothing for me.
get a kick out of like finding this hidden wall and then punching it, and then like, oh, I've been rewarded with a chest. Ooh, it's a unique piece. I wonder if I can complete the set. Yeah, it just really scratches all the itches. Like I said, I was sitting there catching butterflies for like the first 45 minutes of the game
Jesus
because I'm doing
Christ.
a checklist.
Yeah.
They know
I listen.
exactly who to appeal to in them ways because they put everything with question marks. So it means I don't know what that is, and then you grab it, and then it catalogs it in a little collection menu, and it's like you bastards.
But I think the cool thing is like it also does appeal to players like me. You know, it appeals to players like you. It appeals to people who
Mm.
are in the middle between someone like me and you, people who like I really, really need I need some structure. I want a main quest. I want but like and sure the writing isn't that good, but like I was still pretty locked in just seeing cool shit take place on the screen. Like I don't go to Fast and Furious for some incredibly in-depth story. And like, you know what I mean? I'm there to see the spectacle. And I kind of ended up coming to that same conclusion with Crimson Desert, where it's like nothing
Hmm.
that's going on is really fulfilling or giving me some deep, heartfelt meaning that I'm going to take with me for years and remember Dutch Vanderling and the like the Vanderling gang. Like it's not that same thing. It's not going to be something that I remember. Probably next month I won't be able to tell you a single thing that happened in the story, but like there I will definitely be able to tell you moments. Like I might not be able to tell you people, but I'll definitely like not yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but like there's shit that happens late in that game where I'm like, holy fuck. Like this is Final Fantasy 16 levels of spectacle. It's just crazy. Some of the stuff you see. So it keeps you going enough to be like, yeah, I want to and I just like the combat enough to keep going. I want to whenever I'm going and doing fetch quests, I'm a little bit bored and kind of you get to this place where you're like, damn, do I really want to keep playing this thing? Like got to that point a few times, but then after I'm 50 hours in, I'm like, all right, well, what is it going to take another 20 to roll credits on this? Let's just put the 20 in, I guess. Like it kind of becomes like one of those Far Cry things once again, where it's like, yeah, it's I'm not going to leave this playthrough with some different understanding of what games can be, but I don't really ever leave 99% of games with that feeling. That's not most games are some amalgamation of what has come before it.
Mm,
And you're gonna be left with a similar feeling to what you when you finish those games. Like that's okay. You know what I mean? Not everything has to be some groundbreaking, awe-inspiring
we
experience. Like
don't
I was happy with my time.
we don't have this isn't 1998 to like 2002 where you had things coming out that were moving the what it was to be a game for like Half-Life coming out and being like, yeah, let's put a narrative like that in a first-person shooter setting, and then the choices that they made for that had massive ramifications on how games were made after. Like we've reached a relatively we're basically at the ceiling. Like there's probably going to be things that are going to come along that people haven't thought of course, there
Hmm.
always is, but I don't think we're ever going to have that massive next step. I think we figured out what it means to be a kid in the same way like movies and stuff like that. Even when 3D came along, people were like, "Oh, it's the next mate." No, people just want to watch a fucking movie, man. It's
Yeah,
gimmicky, yeah, cool, but like gimmicks aren't the thing that move stuff forward. It just doesn't.
totally.
Like the same with like VR and stuff like that. It's cool that it exists, but there's people who are like adamant that that's going to be like a replacing fact, and it's just like I don't think people just enjoy having it like a controller in your hand and consuming media in that way. It's the same way with like how Kindles didn't kill off paperback books and stuff like that. People just yeah, that's the next technological step, but people will always just prefer to have a book in their hand a lot of the
Yeah,
time. And that's the same with this. Like it does, as you highlighted, there were people who were saying that it's the next evolutionary step in open world games, and I saw like a lot of outlets running with that, like, oh, they've set the new boundaries, and it's like, no, that's you're very, very heavily bending the truth there. There's a lot in this game, sure. Like they've packed a lot of shit in. There's a lot of mechanics and stuff like that that aren't in other games. There is no way in hell this becomes the new standard because this can't be pumped out on a yearly basis. And if it did, it would lose what it has as an appeal. Because I think I said this in the Discord very early on. I don't want to see another one of these for a while. I don't need this to come out in 2 years' time again. Like really at all. Like you can probably do like one of these a generation. I would feel you could get away with from this team. Um, I
oh,
don't.
from this team
Yeah,
specifically.
but
Yeah,
then
yeah,
again, I
yeah.
don't think the industry wants to try and ape this either, because the reason they're able to do what they're doing is because they're also on their own engine. How many of
Mm.
these other developers have the balls over in the Western development sphere that are going to be like, yes, we will make, because you can't do this on like Unreal, you can't do this on RE engine and stuff like that.
Oh
Like
God, no.
they tried that with Dragon's Dogma 2, and it
Yeah.
like I love you, Dragon's Dogma 2, but boy oh boy, does it feel like you're gonna burst into flames every time I play you
You
for an
enter
extended period
town.
of time.
Yeah.
Like that's something that definitely should be commended. They've done all this shit and it runs. I would maybe this is stretching, but I feel like it runs flawlessly on the Series X. Like there was people like you have to play this on a Pro or a PC, and it's like no, just bump it into balance. That's fine. If you're
Yeah.
choosing to go down that route of like I need it to look as perfect as possible, and you're the one sacrificing your frame, that's on you, man. Like you have to understand that these boxes are they're not new anymore as much as people like to that it's dated tech. Now we're at the end of the generation.
It's so crazy. Yeah, we
And
got to talk
like
about that at some
this
point.
is one of them games where it is testing the tech. It's a fucking massively ambitious game, and I think they've done an incredible job. Like they have the balls to sit there and be like, we're thinking about putting this on the Switch too. Like it's in the ballpark possibility. They're probably gonna have to sand things down and
For
change things
sure.
to
Run at
have that
720.
run at all. But they're clearly very, very damn talented. Um,
Very talented.
and it's I've said it. I wasn't obviously the first person to say it, but I've been banging that drum, man. Like keep an eye on like I know people when you think of like Eastern developers, for the longest time it was just obviously Japan putting
Japan.
stuff out. South Korea did put stuff out. Like you can go back and look at the Wikipedia. Like they've been putting stuff out since like 2007 and stuff like that on console releases as well. It's not just they have that stigma of only doing like multiplayer shit. Yes, that's
Mm.
heavily in their bones and stuff like that, but they were exploring that space. But you think of like the past 3 to 5 years, they've put what Stellar Blade out, Lies of P,
Lies of P.
Crimson Desert, and Kazan are
Yeah.
like the four that you think of, and they're all damn good games. Like this isn't like half-assed. Like I love Eurojank. It's not that level of quality where they're like we can't really compete, but we're trying, guys. Like
Yeah.
these are things where like a Black Myth as well, obviously coming out of China and stuff like that.
Marvel Rivals. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like no, they really can compete, and you should probably. This is more on like the developer and publisher. You should probably be worried that they can compete because we've heavily pushed and eliminated crunch culture. This is something that doesn't really get
Right.
thought about. You think of like, yeah, the developer cuts are affecting games and budgets ballooning. Crunch culture is the reason that GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas made it out in that tight fucking time space. If there was no crunch culture, you wouldn't have had them within them few year periods.
No.
And it's because back then there was a level of they were proud to work on them games. It was a passion project almost. There wasn't this whole it's a huge industry. They didn't feel like they were part of the entertainment industry in a way. They felt different and separated from like Hollywood and stuff like that. There was pride because I can't remember who the person was that said that as like a developer. Like it was I was proud to be under crunch, and there was like a lot of people like what the fuck, that's inhumane. It's like you got to take yourself back into the shoes of that where it was like everybody was happy to work there and do through that. They felt motivated to do that because they didn't feel like they do now when if you're working under the umbrella of Ubisoft, you think, no, fuck you, I ain't coming in for I'm clocking out when that time's over. I'm going home. Like you're not gonna push through that. So like they're gonna put a lot of fire and pressure on Western developers, I feel. Because if they've already managed this in them few years, and you look at how their patch rollout time span for Crimson Desert is, where it's like here's
It's
one and 2 days, here's another
crazy.
one 2 days. Like, can you really like the bar was set with like Fortnite for levels of pumping shit out of content
Mhm.
for like a live service game, and they do that like yeah weekly for stuff, monthly for like big stuff. But these motherfuckers are putting it out like bi daily
Daily. Yeah.
almost. That's scary to think about.
Yeah, it's just such an, I mean, Imperlibus is huge, don't get me wrong, but it's just such an incredible degree of, work ethic that's being displayed. And yeah, if you're Sony or Microsoft or really any of the big publishers, I guess as well, uh, well, yeah, I don't, yeah, it's a little bit different there. But if you're Sony and Microsoft, you definitely want to be investing in, Korea and China, even Japan though as well. Like it is kind of crazy that you're not as invested, especially for Sony in Japan, as you should be because budgets are so much slimmer and you don't have to pay people nearly as much, which I know that's horrible to say, but it's just true. And yeah, you should be investing in Africa and not just the Hero Project. Like you should be investing. It's crazy that you let um, Shinji Mikami slip and he goes and starts something up with shift up. Or it's crazy that you don't go and grab uh I'm blanking on names right now, but you don't go and grab the creator of Yakuza whenever
Mm-hmm.
NetEase is going to let his game fall through. It's like go and start these things because if you can get a Grand Theft Auto style game out of the creator of Yakuza for $100 million, like if you had to pay Sony Santa Monica to do that, it would be $700 million,
I
$800 million.
think
It's like,
I think the problem with it though is that were they to grab it, they would be like, "You have to come to the our soil," kind of thing. We need it
well, he is.
on our turf, kind of thing.
He's in their soil. Like he's creating in Japan, you know? So it's like, why not get him? Negoshi is his name, by the way. I
Hmm.
blanked on it.
I was thinking like if Microsoft was to do it, I think they would probably
Oh.
push to pull it out and put it into the US. Not so much for well, Sony's also based out of the US now heavily. They shifted their
Microsoft, they didn't do that for Tango though, did they? Tango still operated out of Japan, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, but they shut them down.
That's true.
That's the like I know it's kind of like a conspiracy hat thing, but like there's a lot when you're doing tech firm things, a lot of it is you're shaking hands with governments as well, and it's being like, oh, we'll overlook this or give you tax breaks if you bring it to the store, because then it's funding your own economy. You don't, if you're an American-based company, you want stuff in America because then it's funding your own economy and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, if you were just operating off of logic, yeah, fucking damn right. Go invest in South Korea. It's pennies compared to the US and stuff
Even
like that.
Poland. Go
Yes.
grab those Dawnwalker guys. Like, how the fuck did you not grab them and let Bandai Namco strike a deal with them? I mean, imagine a PlayStation or Xbox funded Witcher style game. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's not to throw shade at Bandai Namco, but it's just a totally different level of funding. Well, I guess not anymore, really. Bandai Namco's got fucking crazy money coming in at this point.
Yeah, they obviously did they were partnered with
From.
FromSoft all them years
Mhm.
from the basically from the get go. Outside of because I don't think they were in. They might have been. I don't know if they were part of Demon Souls in its original state. I know that was a Sony thing. I don't know if there was anything to do with like From as well.
I think it started
Um,
with Dark Souls. I could be wrong.
yeah, but yeah, I think as well. Again, there's so many different webs of where you can go. There's probably, for instance, like the Dawnwalker guys. Like you probably think, well, no, we want our independence as well. Like Larian, Larian's never gonna fucking sell out. For as long as they're on top, they're not gonna want to be purchased. They want full control over their IPs and ownership. It's why they walked away from Wizards because you
Hmm.
could have just sat there and banked D&D titles to the end of eternity. But what would have happened is year after year after year of doing that, Wizards are going to get more greedy. They're going to want more money. They want to want more cut. They're going to, yeah. It just gets very muddied with uh, relationships. Couldn't think of the word. That's also why they didn't have a perfect relationship with Baldur's Gate 3 either. It's why they walked away. They'd rather walk away on a high than fucking walk away on a burning ship. And they've taken that and they're going to go, invest it in their own IP, which is what should happen. I'd much rather them see Divinity flourish than be in a D&D milk mine for the rest of their lives. Like that doesn't help anybody really.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. It's the one thing I will say though, back to the point about Crimson Desert and not wanting games like this on a frequent basis. I definitely don't want the MMO style questing from the open world space. Like I don't really
Mm,
want to go around and mine ore and cut down trees and like, but what I would love to have is the level of weirdness of trying to do things that are mechanically outside the box. This is one of the first games in the open world space in a long, long time that I've played where I'm like, they are thinking way outside the box. And sometimes it fucks them, right? Like sometimes it does not work, but it's just fun. It's interesting. It feels different. Like, once again, yes, you can hold down R1 or hold down R2 and that'll that'll reap you many rewards, but the fact that you also can experiment so much with different, like just so many weird mechanics. It feels like going back to that PS2 era of, I don't know if we've quite figured this out yet. People being like, let's try to figure a new way out of doing something. I just love that spirit a lot.
It just came and hit me. I think a really cool thing that they could do is a standalone DLC like thing with how they did Undead Nightmare with Red Dead Redemption, Get Out of Hell with Saints Row, where you've already, so you don't need to spend any time at all building the map again because you already have that structure. You can just wipe the slate clean and then just build a narrative off of it, and then
That'd
just
be
be
great.
like, it's in like Far Cry Free Blood Dragon, like Far Cry Prime, like that's how you get these things, and just reusing assets tastefully because you have this world, you have all them mechanics. There's going to be people who have already played that game, so you probably don't need to spend fucking 50 hours unraveling that because they should already have that information. It's meant, when it's a standalone thing, it's meant to appeal to the people who've already played it, not reaching out to new players. Really,
Yeah.
it's appeal like Shadow of the Erd Tree is like an example. That's not standalone, but like that's not being created to let's go grab 20 new. Like it's to give to your existing player base and feed them good. I think that could be the way of doing it well. Of like, if you wanted to really actually write a narrative, make this into a universe that
Bro.
you could spiral out of control and it become like the next Witcher then in that way. Because in its current state, you're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get merchandise for people wanting to be like, yeah, I want to buy a Cliff action figure. You squeeze it and it goes, yeah. Like there's
Yeah, right.
there's not going to be any of that. Like I do want to say because you didn't do the quest. There is one character in the game that has like split people. Do you didn't meet
Oh,
Yam
you're
at all,
talking,
did you?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you did.
Hmm.
Guy's such a he's a gem.
Yeah.
He's just a
He,
completely unhinged freak, and they have so many quests of him where it's just I've seen people like despise him, but he's just a complete bumbling fuck up of a human being, and it's just he's constantly getting into shit, like getting into he's imprisoned and you have to break him out, and then like he's just constantly messing up, and he's just that's the kind of narrative that people want constantly. But you give it in like drips and drabs like that, like then that would be like the perfect thing of doing like a standalone clean slate, break everything off, and then be like, it's set 50 years in the future where the Grey Mains have done whatever they've done. Here's the repercussions of that. Here's the world in that state, and then build a fantasy story off of that. And there you go,
right,
boom. Yeah, and it doesn't even need to be something where it would be hundreds and hundreds of hours long because that's what the original base game is for. Like you could even cut off like the Crimson Desert part and like trim down the map and just be like, yeah, this is just a battle of them two factions and stuff like that, and then have like
right,
a really deep intrigue stuff like that.
right. Yeah. I mean, I would love to even, because the multiple playable characters are so irrelevant to
Mm.
anything narratively. Like, it would be really cool to have a story centered around the three of them or something, and like swapping between them at different times and having some sort of, because if they're going to go into a sequel and are building off of the same universe, I don't know, maybe do they just create an entirely new
I
IP?
would.
But you don't think
No,
so,
no, no
right?
IP. I thought he was gonna say new characters. I was gonna say I'd probably go with a new set of characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I mean,
wouldn't
because,
carry it with them like you didn't utilize them. Them other two characters are fucking so underutilized,
yeah.
really, in the grand scheme. What it feels like is they sat down at that pitch meeting and was like, "What's the big games?" And they were like, "Yeah, GTA lets you switch character," and
Yeah.
they put that down as a concept idea. And they were focusing on Cliff, and they were like, "Oh shit, we have these other two guys. Who put these stickers over these other two guys and covered them? We didn't know that we was meant to be developing a story for that."
Well, so
Um,
it's like the thing as well, whenever you're playing Grand Theft Auto 5 and you switch to Trevor and you switch to him and he's in the middle of like sleeping in a dumpster, or you switch to Michael and he's sunbathing out by the pool with his wife nagging behind him, or like there's so many, just you don't really have to tell stories. Even in those like quick moments, there's stories being told without you you're really not doing a whole lot, but you're developing some character investment, or like you're
Well, yeah,
developing characteristics.
when you switch to Trevor and he's having like a fucking full blown argument with people, you have these like
Yeah.
little mini skits almost of things playing
Hmm.
out, and it's just like that makes the world feel alive as well. It
Yeah,
makes it feel like yes, you when if you're just gonna really dissect it, you know that it's just a predetermined
for
set piece
sure.
pulling through, but it makes that illusion of like, oh, he's actually still causing chaos when I'm not even playing, and fucking you
Yeah.
guys are menace.
I mean, sometimes you'll literally be in the middle of him causing chaos and you're having to fight, or like just shit like that where the game, it actually feels like it's going on, and then you jump in and you're like, oh shit, what the hell did I just jump into? It's stuff like that wherever when you swap to characters in Crimson Desert and they're just like standing there idly waiting for you to swap to them. It's like little things like that wouldn't be hard to iron out for a sequel at all. Like, I think that when they get their hands on, because you got to keep in mind, this is the thing I try to remind people with like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Crimson Desert and uh uh Shift Up, Game Science, all of these teams who are just now forming. And of course, a lot of these people have been employed for decades in the industry. Daniel Vara worked on the first Mafia, and like, so that there's a lot of these people who have been around the block. They know their shit, but there's still something to be said about the foundation of forming a studio and it taking probably a decade or more before you really start to reach your magnum opus as a studio. Because BioWare didn't create, when Mass Effect 2 came out, BioWare had been together for what? Shit, dude, well over a decade
Hmm.
at
Yes,
that
because they
point.
did one of the boulders. I don't think they did both, or they might have done both. I can't remember. I know they did one of the
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate games at least, and that's the thing of like, because it's not even just the magnum opus having to wait for that to form. It's the generalized DNA of what you expect from that studio.
Hmm.
Because they went from making Baldur's Gate to then doing what was it, Jade Empire,
Yeah.
and you can see it begin to slowly evolve, and then Mass Effect and Dragon Age and stuff like that. And that's why when like they were having to be forced into making Anthem, it was so different and didn't fit their DNA. It was so glaringly obvious.
Hmm.
And like you said, with these being very, Polar Abyss isn't new. They've had Black Desert Online around for many, many years, but that's an MMO. This is their first stab at a
Exactly.
single player game. If they want to stay in this space and keep making them, you're not going to see like if this is their starting, the guns fired, and they've only just began running. What are they going to look like at full pace? That's scary to think about. Like,
Same thing with Warhorse.
yeah,
Like
and it.
same thing with game science. Like, dude, these teams. Shift Up was a fucking mobile developer before Stellar Blade.
Mm-hmm.
Pearl Abyss was a MMO developer before Crimson Desert. That is crazy impressive for a first open world game, for a first open world single player game from Pearl Abyss. Like, to think of the main criticism being the story sucks, dude. How easy will it be for them to just go, hey, Drew Karpyshyn, hey,
Mm,
whoever, because not to be rude, but like a lot of these projects that these really talented writers are writing on probably aren't going to see the light of day.
no,
I hope I'm wrong, but whenever these things start to fall through, it's like, hey, I noticed that your project was canceled by some shitty publisher. How about you come write fucking Crimson Desert 2, Magenta Desert, whatever the fuck you're going to call it.
Crimson Desert. Yeah, no, it's and because I think I might have messaged you, or it was a generalized comment I made, and it was like we have to also keep in mind that this isn't in their natural wheelhouse.
Exactly.
you have different. I hope no one takes this as like a racist remark. I don't think it is, but like it's just not in their DNA as a country to be exploring these types of things. They built their foundation off of, like I said, online, more multiplayer service things. So narrative is the fucking bottom of the list. When I was doing, because I was interested in it, put Black Desert Online on my radar. Like I'd played a tiny bit of it, but I'd put it down. I was like, maybe like it's one of them things where like if this is their potential, like maybe I didn't give that other one a fair shot. And I was like, I wonder like if it's been several years. You usually get something with an MMO where the beginning story is whack, and then they start to piece things together, and that is the case. Like they did eventually start. The beginning story is nonsensical, kind of messy, and you don't know where you're going with it really. And they did get a little bit better, and it's because it's like it's just not natural. It doesn't come natural to them to explore that because they're more based off of hitting addictive gameplay mechanics because
Mm-hmm.
that's just what their player base in their country resonate with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, when we were talking about it, it was like I don't know. I would happily be proven wrong, but I don't know if they have the chops to write a compelling narrative themselves. Because when your main voice actor is giving you feedback of like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, this doesn't even make sense to me. Why am I like, what is this? And then having to take control over that, that's really, really bad from a narrative perspective. You can have a main voice actor give opinions and input, but they shouldn't be really driving where that
Dictating,
narrative.
yeah.
That's not good. That's your lead writer is meant to be doing that, for Christ's sake. That's the whole point of their job. So I don't know if they have the chops, and it would just be good to be like reach out to a really talented writer because there's so many as well. Like you don't even need to land Drew as an example. There's so many people who write books that just don't get that chance of having that book exposed. You can find so many indie level writers that have passion, just don't have like the ability to platform it.
You could probably
And you
find
could
South Korean
exactly.
writers,
No,
authors, yeah.
exactly. And keep it in that wheelhouse and being like, here you go. Because that's kind of what happened with the Metro games. That was plucked up from a book that was published on a website. That
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like a book that existed. It was thrown up and people were like, man, this is kind of cool. And then they picked it up and then they adapted it. It's like
That's
that
so
kind of
dope.
thing. And look how fucking rich that is narratively.
Yeah,
That's one of the greatest like survival FPS narratives really ever.
period. Yeah,
Like I
without a
would
doubt.
argue it's better than Stalker. I've always said that. Like it is superior
Without
to
a
Stalker.
doubt.
I love Stalker, but it's
Going for
a
a
cut
totally different
above.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think that would be like a perfect way of doing it. Like don't even try because you'll hurt your brain. Focus on what your strengths are, mechanics, and then go get someone to write your story. And then there you have, I would say, easily an 85 plus rated game.
Oh, dude. I mean, if the quest design was less fetch quest
Mm-hmm.
centric and the writing was stronger, easily you're talking about an 85.
Yep.
Easily.
Yep.
No doubt.
So there we have it. Did you want to touch on anything else? Crimson Desert.
I mean, wherever you want to go with the conversation, I shall follow you, my friend.
Um,
I like the game though. I do want to be clear on that because
yes.
I feel like whenever it's a bummer that whenever someone compares something to like Far Cry or Assassin's Creed, like there's a negative connotation attached to that because the internet has just ran with this idea that like those games are trash, but I don't think they are. I think those games are fun. I enjoy those games a hell of a lot. Sure, there are ones that resonate more with me than others. Like I don't really like Shadows. I don't really like Valhalla. I love Odyssey. I don't really like Far Cry Primal I didn't really click with, but I love Far Cry 3 and 4
Hmm.
and 5 and 6 I like less, but I still
It's
enjoy a good deal.
it's so weird that that's considered like not like abnormal. Like
I
not
know.
because like when I think back on it, like me being like as an example, like Tales, like I didn't play the Tales games until Arise. Loved it. It was like I need more of this, and then I went back and I was like, oh wow, I really don't like these early games. Like Symphonia, I hate. Couldn't get into it, and it's just like, is that not normal? Like you should be able to like. Usually directors change as well when there's like with Final Fantasy games, they change directors. That's why you have people who will be like, I loved Final Fantasy X. I hated 12 and stuff like that. Like, because there's just going to be different things that they're exploring as well. And like you said, with Assassin's Creed, that's a perfect other one. The design philosophy changed with Origins and stuff like that, and so that's still the same from Odyssey to Shadows, but it's also just a different lick of paint. It's exploring a different time period that may
Time
be more
period.
interesting to you. The gameplay is also still different. Like I remember Odyssey just being a complete power fantasy compared to the other ones,
Totally.
and that's what made it so damn enjoyable. Is you were basically a god for all
Yeah, man.
intents and purposes, and it was amazing.
And with Valhalla, like Valhalla was just so massive, and then Shadows felt more trimmed down, but still so massive. And Odyssey was massive, but it just maybe I had a fill of the massive, Assassin's Creed open world, and then the two that followed didn't click with me as much. Like it can be so simple as to suggest, like, yeah, I think that these games are really, really damn fun, and it's going to depend on the mood you're in when you play it. Like, it really can be as simple as, oh, damn, I had a bad day at work. Crimson Desert fucking sucks. Oh, I had a fucking full weekend off. And Monday was a holiday, and I played it 10 hours straight. Because that's the other thing. If I were to play this game like I play most games, I don't think I would have liked it as much. Where I play most games 2, 3 hours at night. Crimson Desert, and we didn't talk about this. Like it has such an addictive hook to
Mm.
it, where like I I begin playing games usually around 5, 6 p.m. every night. I would play this thing until 3, 4 in the morning, like straight up from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m., just playing it nonstop. Like I really, really like this game, but it's also a very flawed game. Like those two things can exist
Yeah,
simultaneously. You know what I mean? Like I love playing the game when they let me just play. And once again, why I would recommend people more play it like you, in terms of just going and dicking around, exploring, and maybe even not play it like you or I at all, and just don't
just
think about the
find
quest whatsoever.
find your own playstyle. Don't try and mimic others as well. Play it the way that you want to play it. Like you get into the game and it is magical enough to where it offers multiple ways of playing. You can play it in a very immersion. I can guarantee you this: there are going to be people who find that farming aspect and they just sit there and farm in the same way that they do
Hmm.
like fucking Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley,
Right.
because it's not very very complex, but there's enough there that you can play that as a game,
Totally.
and you'll just have people do that, and it's just yeah, definitely
Bro,
worth
I
experiencing. If any of that sounded appealing, like give it a shot if you can. Obviously different budgets, it's hard to like recommend and stuff like that. This is a game
totally.
I will also say I don't think the updates may slow down slightly, but this is going to be something that they're going to keep patching and patching. This is one of them aspects where I don't, because I saw also a headline running, oh, is this going to have a Cyberpunk comeback? I don't know if you saw that, and it was like, Cyberpunk was like fucking unbelievably
Broke.
broken at launch, guys. Can we not like compare it to that level? That's
No,
really
not close.
disingenuous. Like this is flawed, but it runs. Can we not do that?
It's
Um,
not even close.
no,
It doesn't
exactly.
need a comeback of any sort.
Yeah, and it's like this game in a year's time is going to be even better.
Hmm.
And for those who have the patience to wait, I applaud you. I'm not one. We are creatures of impulse, you and I, to a fault. But yeah, definitely worth get it on a sale. I don't know if it does. I don't know if there's a trial for it on consoles,
No, I don't
or a
think
demo
so.
or anything. If there is, try that for sure. I don't know what the refund policy is like on PlayStation. I don't know
Dog
how much.
shit.
Okay, there we go.
Utter
But
dog
yeah,
shit.
if any of them aspects sounded appealing, like you'll have a blast. If you enjoyed games like Dragon's Dogma 2, that level of like going through and exploring the world and being rewarded by going into caves, there's that. It excels at. It has really cool traversal mechanics where you're able to climb and explore. Like the amount of pictures I posted in the Discord, just being like, and here I am at the top of a mountain, and there's an even bigger mountain over there. And it's like the, what do you call it? The Skyrim Todd Howard thing of like, if you can see that mountain, you can climb it. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's the entire damn game, man. And it's nauseating when I climb to the very top of a mountain. I'm like, oh god, look how big this map is. But it's just, yeah, it's so addictive, man. It's so addictive. I don't think people believed me when I was first putting it up and being like, I can't stop playing, guys. I really can't stop playing. I couldn't put it down. And it was true.
it
I was
gets,
losing. It was, this sounds bad, but it was genuinely affecting, like, minorly real life things of being like, yeah, I should, this is kind of irresponsibly like, should have gone to bed 2 hours ago.
bro.
It's
It
affecting me in the next day of like being able to do things perfectly. Like I'm managing to do them. It's not like affecting it that deeply, but it's like, yeah, probably should have stopped, but I can't.
Dude, it was majorly affecting me. Like, yeah, I would play it like I said till 3, 4 in the morning, pretty much every night. And there was one day I had to go, like, fill out this e-document for work, like an electronic document, and they had like a stand sitting there, and I'm filling it out on pretty much like an iPad. Every word was double. I had double vision for every single word on the document. And I'm like scanning and I'm like taking a step back, and it was early, right? Like I had just
Yeah.
I woke up at 8 and went straight there and had played it until 3, 4 in the morning, and I'm seeing double of every single word. And that was the last night that I played it like that, so aggressively, but it was still, I mean, even whenever I played it probably at minimum 5 hours a day, whenever I was binging the shit out of it. Like it is one of those games, man. It just really is. And that's the thing where I do agree with people whenever they make the comparisons to um I don't agree with the comparisons to Skyrim in the sense of, I think one of I agree about the sense of wonder. I agree about the addictive nature. I agree about those elements. The one thing I don't agree with though is like one of the key components of Skyrim's quote unquote sense of wonder is the fact that you might stumble into a really interesting quest, and you might find like really compelling faction quests, or shit like the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna stumble into the arena. Like you're gonna stumble into some shit that feels like it has major weight in an Oblivion or a Skyrim,
Yeah.
where the questing in this, you're there's no sense of wonder in the questing, but
No.
there's absolutely that sense of wonder in the exploration, without
Yeah.
a doubt.
In the environments that you stumble on, and the, I think there's something like crazy like 70 plus bosses in the game. Like you get like,
Probably.
I think it's in the collection manual. They do have that labeled out, I believe. It's about 76, 72. Like, and there's a good variety of them as well. Like, they're not all just dude in armor. Like, there's a
Hmm.
good amount of change. And that's where it, again, kind of has that sensibility of being compared to Skyrim, but in no way, shape, or form does it have that being able to stumble upon the Dark Brotherhood kind of
No,
stuff. Like there is none of that in this game on that level, really. Um,
no.
yeah,
Even the main quest line is not nearly as compelling as
yeah,
Skyrim's main quest line. Like, I just want to be really clear for people who, if you want to dick around like you dick around with a Far Cry, a Just Cause, but you want to have like a larger scale, crazier level of exploration available to you, and you just want to be in a massive open world that's full of stuff to do, even if it's not necessarily the most compelling stuff on a narrative front or character front, but just having fun dicking around and losing 80, 100, 200 hours. Like, yeah, you can easily. It's one of those games where I hate the idea of equating value to hours,
oh
like money
god,
to hours, because then it's like, okay, well,
yeah.
nobody should ever buy Resident Evil then if
I
you just
was
want to play
literally
through it
about to say
once.
there
And
was that floating around of people being like, "Why would you waste money on buying Resident Evil 9 when you could beat it in 8 hours? When you can do this?" And it's like, you can beat it in 8 hours anyway, you dumbass on your first playthrough. Like it's double digits. I would hope, unless you're running through and skipping dialogue, like in basking the world, man. Especially when your argument is hour to fucking dollar ratio. Take your time.
Well, and it's like, dude, you have to understand as well that, like, if you want to make that argument, then Mass Effect, Deus Ex, like you can go through and make that argument about so many games where you're like, oh, Mass Effect you can get through in 10 hours. It's like, yeah, I guess if you don't want to do anything
No,
but the main
exactly.
story, you can get through it in 10 hours. Like if you want to get through Deus Ex in 12 hours, I guess you can. But like BioShock's not a game worth playing. Metal Gear
And
Solid
this,
1's
yeah,
not a game worth.
it's
What are we
baffling.
talking about?
Exactly. I remember Northern Lion touching upon it because he was asked that. He was like, he had the perfect response, basically. I'm not going to do it justice as one to one, but he was like, well, slay the spire then. And if you're talking like dollar to hour, like hour to dollar ratio, this is going to cost you like a Tesla. This is like $20,000, brother. Like, are you going to be dumping that? No. So like, let's just not have this discussion at all, because it's
Yeah,
stupid. Like, I've put it. He was like, I put in like 1,500 hours on this game. Like, you can't compare that. It's just whatever you got from your enjoyment. You can enjoy something equally, something like Isaac, where it's 500 plus hours, in the same way that you could enjoy something that's sub 10 hours.
totally. Yeah,
It,
I mean, I can tell you without a doubt I've put more hours into Far Cry 6 than I did Metal Gear Solid 1. I don't remember anything that happened in Far Cry 6. I remember, I mean, I wouldn't say everything, but damn near everything that happens in Metal Gear Solid 1. Like I can recite lines, I can tell you all the bosses, like it's just yeah, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous argument.
so there we go. That was a big old chunky, very long Crimson Desert dissection deep dive. I think you said you have a video lined up as well on your channel for it, which will drop
Yeah.
sometime in the future. So keep an eye out for that because this will probably go up. I don't know. Do you plan on putting it out like in the next day or two, or is it going to be like in a week or something? Feels.
Probably 3 days or so. It'll be the next video that I drop.
Then it might beat it to it. So make sure to go and check that out if you missed it, if there's any crossover. Because
Perfect.
I'm assuming you talk about some other stuff as well. I'm sure we've missed stuff as we always do as we go off on our
Oh yeah, yeah,
tangents.
yeah. For sure. Yeah, that
So
this is much more conversational sort of
mm,
discussion opposed to like the review I did. I mean everything that I do is more
here is a side by
conversational and
side comparison of a rock. This is what it
no.
looks like in Skyrim. Look how far we've come.
Hell no. But everything that I do is more unscripted, just shooting the shit. But it's a totally different thing whenever you're having two people discuss it who have played it and getting that opposed to just hearing one person sit
Mm.
and ramble about it. So I, yeah, man, I hope people enjoy it, and I hope people are enjoying the game. People definitely are enjoying the game. It's looking like right now it'll be probably the best-selling single-player game of 2026 unless something is on the horizon that I can't think about that could
GTA
top it. But I
6 could
yeah, if it doesn't
easily
launch with online, but
mm, could
but
easily well, it won't launch with online. There's no shot that that goes day one in the way that
it's
they
still
did.
hard to consider it a single-player game. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
yes, GTA 6 will outsell
Uh,
the lifetime of Crimson Desert in the first 10 minutes of its launch. Like, we're aware of that. But, like, I still do think of it as a big ass online thing as well. Like, I don't really think of it as a single player
what
game
do you think of
anymore.
Red Dead 2 as a single player? Because
Weirdly, I
that
do.
has
It,
online, bro.
yeah, I know. Weirdly, I do. It's a strange thing.
Bias. They didn't support it though, so in your defense, they put that online out there and gutted it immediately. Basically, that poor
Yeah,
Red
it
Dead
is.
community didn't get fed well at all.
It is a really weird distinction though, because like for some reason I almost look at GTA as more of an online game than a single player game, and with Red Dead I almost don't even think about it as multiplayer, although it did have multiplayer, but
It's because
you know what I mean.
it didn't get the support though. That's the difference. Is that there's no, even now when you hear it like talked about with Red Dead, there's nobody really talking about any, like the online still works. You can go play it, but people aren't sharing anecdotes of that. It's stuff from the single player. Whereas with GTA 5, everything is centered around that multiplayer. Like you don't really hear all that much talk come from the single player side because the multiplayer has become this. I could even argue out dwarfing that original single player stuff. Like it's just become
Without a
a
doubt.
I can't even put it into words. Like it's crazy how that's ballooned. They've
Yeah.
basically made an MMO. They've made World of Warcraft for console players.
Bro, and like the quality is nuts. I have a friend who plays it nonstop, and the shit they're doing in there, I'm like, this game came out in 2013. What the how is all of this happening? It's they have
On the bones
fighting
of a
rings
previous
and
gen. That's what
yes,
also
two
like,
previous
yeah,
gens. PlayStation 3 bones, Xbox 360 bones. It's scary to think about what this fucking game is going to do to culture in November if it comes out. I kind of still doubt it's going to, but I don't fucking know. I'm just leaning skeptical on that. But is there anything you think that could come out this year that could topple Crimson Desert in the single player space in terms of sales? Like
no,
I don't think so.
no, this,
Maybe Fable?
no,
No.
no. Even with that going PC, like because that's under that Xbox umbrella, there's, as an example for me, I'm not buying it. I'll be playing it for Game Pass.
Game
So
Pass,
like
yeah.
that's always their uphill struggle. They can never. It's so hard for them to get on like sales charts because you've just conditioned your player base. Like it's not a inherent negative either because you're still billing them every fucking month. So you're getting money off of them, but you can't flaunt in the way that like Sony can.
That's day one PS5 though, right?
Yeah, but
Fable?
yeah, but
I mean, so if you have 100 million people who can buy it on PlayStation and then PC, let's say 40 million people, 50 million people who could run a game of that, like that,
even then
I
with
imagine
PC, there's that option of like with Starfield
of
as
Game
well of
Pass.
looking
True.
through Game Pass with that.
That's true. That is true. That is true. But I wonder though, man. The Fable is the only one I can think of off the top of my head where I'm like, Fable might if that thing hits like crack, like if that thing is you're talking 93, 92 crazy reviews where people are
Mm.
like they just crushed this thing. I don't know. Fable is the only thing duh. Fucking Wolverine. I completely forgot that was coming out this year. Anything in that space, the Marvel space will probably. But I don't know. Crimson Desert is doing crazy, crazy numbers.
It's always
Like,
just the benefit of having it available on every single platform because it's like topping Xbox charts, it's topping PlayStation chart for like players and stuff like that. And it's only gonna get like, it hasn't died down. The fucking concurrent players on Steam are disgustingly like solid.
yeah.
So like it's just constant. And like
It's just
it's with Wolverine, it's going to sell obviously shitloads of copies, but it's also it's an uphill struggle to compete against multi-platform stuff when it's just one thing. It's always great the numbers that they hit, but if something's huge like Hogwarts Legacy and stuff like that, levels of numbers that you could be looking at potentially because it's available fucking everywhere. And then when you get to the end of the year and the sales, like if it starts getting put on like holiday sales and then you get that second boost wave and stuff like that. And with them constantly putting updates, it's also being churned again through social media
in
of relevant,
conversation. Yep.
relevant, relevant. Like that's why they're doing it as well. They just they have a winning formula there. I think because you were saying about Fable, I think I have a feeling Horizon 6 is going to outsell it. If they can get it out on PlayStation for like a later date, because it's not day and date with PlayStation, is it?
No,
If they can get
no.
that for like a October release, there's no like racing game that
Mm-mm.
does that like obviously Gran Turismo in the sim space for PlayStation fucking does bonkers numbers, but like there's no arcade sticky like you had Screamer that come out, but that like it's not gonna compete against like Horizon
No,
6 and stuff like
God,
that.
no.
Like this is gonna be of any of the IPs Microsoft dangling over towards PlayStation if they do end up pulling the trigger and putting it on there still, because that could also they could yank that back if they had the big enough balls to do so, but I don't think they will.
I don't
Um,
either. Can
there's
I
just
ask
nothing
you
else that competes.
just a complete tangent? What do you think's going to happen at the showcase in June? I know we got other shit to get to wrap up. Like, do you think that whenever you leave the showcase in June, do you think that the feeling around the Xbox brand is going to be what level of where are we going to be at, do you think, in terms of the conversation? I'm not asking you what you think is going to get
It,
announced or anything like that. Just like, do you
this is
think
meant
it's
to be
going to be a
the anniversary, right? For that.
25th anniversary?
If I was in her shoes, because she seems to be going about things fairly aggressively, and like there's people really pushing to have exclusivity back, just knock that out. Just get that messaging across whatever's already in development. Because I don't think there was talks of like Sony scrapping. They had began working on Ghost of Yotei for PC and then
Mhm.
scrapping it. So I don't think they'll roll back that. Like Starfield was ready
Oh,
to come
everything that's
out,
announced, yeah.
put it out. Forza Horizon 6 has been shown to be put it out. I think moving forward after that, you clearly want to compete again, which Phil didn't want to do. Go knock that. Don't have it be speculation anymore. Come out with strong messaging because it's something they've always struggled with.
Yeah,
There's so much mixed messaging and it really pisses people. It pisses me off.
me
Give
too.
a direction. Is exclusivity on the thing? Because that's the thing as well. It's at the fucking the anniversary, so therefore it's an important event for your brand. Go establish its identity there. This is your
Yeah.
reset button. Do that. Um, I'm really because there's been so much fluctuation about the backwards compatibility stuff. A bunch of titles popped up again, and they ripped them back
Yeah.
down. Um, what that could mean, they've re-upped the IP trademarks for I think Prototype and Blur, I believe. Like, there's so much shit there. Like, there's so many untapped Activision titles. You have a strong, strong, strong relationship with Sega. So there's a ton of Sega original Xbox games that you could put like on there. Alpha Protocol as well. Get that baby up. Like fucking, there's so many things like you could re-announce it, adding a bunch of Activision stuff to reignite that. I would also love to see have it working on PC. If your next thing is a PC, get this shit again. Like playtest it in this time. Get these 360 games running through whatever thing that you've got planned out for it, and get that out. Um,
So this is kind of like hearing you speak on it now, I feel that you're talking more in the lane of what you think should happen.
mhm.
What do you think will happen? What do you think is going to be? Because I agree with you 100% that these are the things that should happen. Like, well, okay, these are the things that should happen for me personally to buy an Xbox hybrid, whatever. Like, if there's no exclusivity on the table, I'm not going to buy the thing. Like, if it's still going to be releasing on PlayStation 6, PS5, Switch 3, whatever, like, I'm not going to buy the box. Um, but then I go, are you more profitable as a publisher than a console manufacturer? And obviously that's almost impossible data to really come up with because
No,
that is suggesting that you're
that's easy to because the amount of money you spend on R&D and stuff, and if your console is the least selling one,
that's what I was about to say.
like
Like if it's
absolutely, like if you were to go down the route, you would be infinitely more profitable as a publisher.
but that's suggesting that you're the lowest selling console as well. And so if she is of the mindset that I can scale this thing up to
Yeah.
be competitive on a level of PlayStation, Nintendo, then that route would be infinitely more profitable than your software publishing because you would be getting crazy percentage rips of every third
Hmm.
party sales. So it's like, and she's really fucking bright. Like when you listen to interviews, she's really bright. So and I'm not saying I am, but like she has to have thought of everything I've thought of times 4,000. You know what I mean? Like she's got to be so many layers deeper into the business of how to scale Xbox. So like, I think I don't think when people say it's hopium or copium that Xbox is going to go back to exclusives, I'm like, I don't know because the business of a successful console manufacturer with a successful storefront is more profitable than a successful publisher, or at least it generates much
Yeah,
more
if
revenue.
it's a strong storefront that is second place or third place, first place, sorry.
Yeah.
Even with their being in third place, like they still probably generate shitloads of money from their
Well,
storefront.
say they were at third place with 80 million, 90 million, opposed to 30, 40 million. Like that's still double the player
Hmm.
base. You know, like, yeah, I don't know.
But no, like you said, she's smart. Something as well. I think we touched on it when it first broke as news and stuff like that. Like I love Phil. You're just too emotionally like you don't have that dog in you. You're too emotionally
I
invested. So
agree.
she's come in. Everybody's sat down and they've given her the yellow page, the cliff notes of just here's everything what we have. You know, you're not a gamer. Like she's quote unquote she has a gamer tag now and she's been playing games and that level of like it's so stupid to dig that deep.
It
Like just leave
is
her. Like if she's playing Minecraft, who the fuck cares, man? Like you have this
nobody.
obsession with Phil being like your friend when he was a gamer, but like he still was a CEO and stuff. And that's where you have that unhealthy fracture in reality and stuff like that. And like just she's there to be competitive. They've put her in play, and that's why I was like adamant that you don't hire a person like that to sunset a thing. Like when that was the first rumors of like that old Xbox person, whatever, being like, yeah, they brought her in to close it. And I was like, no, you don't. Usually, you don't give someone a fat ass paycheck and somebody who's that young trying to climb the corporate world to shutter a
Exactly.
company that fucks up your CV. Like you would just be like, "Here, Matt Booty, go run that into the ground." He goes, smashes Xbox. Like she's there to prove herself so that she can do a good job here and then go be bought out by Apple or something like that and go like that's all these CEOs care about. That's just hopping like Bobby Kotick bringing up and then being like, "Yeah, here's my fat paycheck. I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm
Yep.
gone, buddy." He doesn't have any attachment to act. He doesn't care about any of that. He did what he did and hopped out of there. So, like you said, she's very intelligent, and the stuff that she has come out with has, in the little bits, has been encouraging. Obviously, we still it's fine to say something. You need to action it, and that's what this showcase will mean. Like to have them two showcases be like bam bam so quick as well was kind of cool to announce that. And it's like you have so many things on your portfolio now. You kind of do need to be doing that. You have so many studios under your umbrella. Show people your games. It's as simple as
So,
that. Give them a reason to own your piece of hardware.
do you think that will happen? Is I guess is the question I'm
That's
the
her
most curious
biggest.
about.
That's going to be her biggest uphill struggle is getting people to give a fuck. Because the thing is like the mixed messaging thing as well. Like she could deliver and turn around and go, "It's exclusive. It's this." She could say all the right things and deliver on all the right things, but
No one will believe her.
no one's gonna be like, "Well, you backtrack on your word like every few years on stuff. Like, how long is this going to be the plan? Because also your motto was the plan is the plan until it
Planet
isn't.
does
Like,
not. That's so true.
and it's
God,
like
that's so true.
you say the right things, so that's kind of a scapegoat ass fucking cover your ass scenario. Um,
Do you think at the showcase there will be a message? Or do you think it'll just
there
be a
has to be.
showcase?
There
Yeah.
has to be. There has to be a thing where you take center stage, especially like I know the whole disconnect what I was saying with she doesn't have to be a gamer, but you are the face of Xbox now.
Uh,
You then need to take and be like, this is what we're going to be doing. You have a rumored console coming out next year, whether or not that's actually 100% true. But that's what this is floating around in the media. That's what is
Yeah.
known to be quote unquote fact, as it is until it isn't. Like, you need to establish this. What
Yeah.
is the mission? What is the reason if that is to be releasing next year? Why are people going to buy into it?
What do you think? Like, okay, so I agree. I agree that it would be crazy to have this moment where the public is aware, maybe not the mainstream public, but the game's hardcore, like this sphere that we're in,
Mhm.
which is hundreds of millions of people are aware of the changes going on at Xbox. Like that's not an insignificant amount of people that you need to be pitching your next console to. I am so curious because you have this moment where the public is aware of the changes that have just took place. And you do have the opportunity right now to reset because this is a major change. This isn't like, this is very different than even Jim Ryan getting pushed out and Herman
Yes.
Hulse getting pushed up because that was a situation of you're bringing pre-existing people to fill the roles of someone that left. This is someone that you brought from the outside who theoretically has an outsider's perspective of a way to shape this and change this to become successful that the inside people couldn't figure out, right? So it's like this is the moment in terms of public relations. It's the moment you dream up if you're an Asha Sharma
It
type who wants to climb, where you have the opportunity right
that is
now
the
to
exact point.
change the perspective
Yes.
of and potentially make this thing successful that hasn't been in 20 years. And like, holy shit, what a fucking if you can achieve this it's your magnum opus for your career. It's the thing that you hang your hat on.
People still talk about Steve Jobs because of the impact they had. This is the type of thing that these CEOs chase as well, is that you don't even need to care particularly about the product, but you want to leave a legacy behind, and you made an impact. You mean something. You will echo through the ages and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Because they have somebody at Apple now who's like doing experimental random bullshit because he's trying to recapture that Steve Jobs. But you want to be that. No one knows who you are. You're
You
just
want
ahead.
you want to know something crazy?
What?
That dude, he's from about 15 minutes up the road from where I'm at. Swear to God, that's crazy.
And that's what I mean. And that's you had people being like, "Is she qualified?" and stuff like that. You don't really even need to be qualified. You just need hunger, man. Really.
Mhm.
Because you could have turned around and said, yeah, Matt Booty maybe is more suited because he has the experience in gaming and stuff like that. But no, you need this fresh. You're doing a full on reset. You need somebody who has no connection, ties, care about gaming, where it's going to be fueled by emotion, which is what Phil
Right.
got caught up in. Of, mm, I need to kind of protect this, and there's just no ruthlessness there. Whereas she will just come in and be like, no. And there's going to be what people need to brace for in the next few years. There's probably going to be more headlines in the way of the Perfect Dark thing. There's going to be like
Mhm.
hard hitting, like, man, that fucking hurts that that's been cancelled. But you need this ruthlessness. You need this reset, and you just need to be fucking efficient.
Yeah.
Quite simply, because
Yeah.
like even the stuff coming out with Halo as of late, Halo needs to be fixed, man. That's like your quote unquote flagship title, and Bungie fucked off. You gave it to somebody else, and they just can't get a grasp on it at all. They've not delivered at all since they've been given it. Really, they've not recaptured that magic. They've every time one's come out, it's pissed off the fan base more and more. Gears is struggling and stuff like that. Like, you need to get a handle on it. They have their what do you call it? I'm trying to think of the word. There's stuff going on in that Halo studio as well.
Oh,
What's the
yeah, yeah,
word that
yeah.
I'm trying to
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going
controversy?
on. There's
That's
the,
the word.
yeah,
Controversy going on in that. Fucking State of Decay, the stuff that was coming out with that. Like, I'm really looking forward to State of Decay. Hearing that what they showed didn't even exist, it's like, well, that
yeah.
fucking come on, guys, you can't be doing this shit. Still, that was also meant to be your first, like, the snowball began rolling at that point where you would turn
Right.
around like, we're competing again, and throw out something that isn't real.
Yeah,
Like
you
it
buy in.
sounds really petty, like with the there's gonna be no zombie deers or whatever. Because you showed it. It was a massive part of the trailer. It would be like showing The Last of Us and the clickers there, and then being like, "Well, there's no clickers in the game.
Right,
We
right,
just
right.
thought that looked cool." It's just like, for fuck's sake, guys, come on, like the simple shit. And this is what she needs to come in and like hammer down, squash the bugs, and clean the garage, and just begin shipping a business again.
So, okay, I'm gonna ask you the last question. We'll move on. Because you know I'm always so curious to pick your brain on Xbox because you have a real level of investment there that like
A
you know what?
delusion.
I don't think it's a delusion.
No,
You're
no, I'm joking.
obviously uh but it's a and I almost have a weirdly similar level of investment, and I don't really know why necessarily. Like, I really want them to succeed, and I've felt for uh, over a decade that they were just lining themselves up for failure, and then they go into 2019 with the studio acquisitions or 2018 with the studio acquisitions, and I'm like, oh, they're making good plays, and into the exclusivity in Bethesda, and I'm like, oh damn, they're about to make a real run. And then the shift, I'm like, oh God, this is just. I've been very, 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 very vocally negative about Xbox since the shift from away from exclusivity. I think that is the death nail for the console if they continue down that path. Um, and so like Gears of War E-Day, right? That's the big showpiece at the event. Do you think that's going to be exclusive? Because they haven't. Here's the
Yeah,
thing,
because
Lou.
it sold like shit on PlayStation. There's no benefit to putting that on there. Even though like the argument is that it's a new entry, but like, look, man, you saw that they re-released The Last of Us, and people bought it like hotcakes. They re-released fucking Horizon, and it still sold. It moved nothing. So that's not where your player base is that care. That's not where your fan base is. And even then, I think I've vocalized this. I don't think Gears is going to be the answer either. Like, if it was
No.
me personally, fuck Gears. Quite
Yes.
simply,
Yes.
fuck Gears. Put that as the third game down the pecking order, for Christ's sake. Show me Clockwork Revolution. Show us stuff that's new. Fucking lead with that. And, like,
But
have that as the centerpiece of this is exclusive and this is. You don't get a game like this on PlayStation from PlayStation Studios.
no.
Who the fuck wants a 2006 cover-based shooter? Like, come on, man. As the centerpiece attention, like, and the Halo remake master thing, whatever that is, and stuff like that. Like, that's not good. I truly, it's not going to sell on PlayStation. It's going to do the same rough numbers as probably Gears did. It's just
Yeah.
a product of the past, and you need to shed that skin, man. The
I
plasco, the
agree,
not the
man.
plasco, the platform mascot mindset only really works with Nintendo in the way that they want it to work. Like, PlayStation has stuff that's recognizable, yeah, Nathan Drake and stuff like that. But there's
But they're starting
still
to see diminishing returns. Like God
exactly
of War
no
Ragnarok isn't
exact.
hitting the same way.
So
Spider-Man 2 isn't hitting the same way.
this is why they've gone and expanded and gone and they went and did Horizon as a new IP. They're going and doing Intergalactic as a new IP because they know that kind of beating a dead horse. We can't compete in the way that Nintendo does. Nintendo just has the winning formula. They have the cheat code, as it were. They can do no wrong almost with Pokemon and Mario and stuff like that. Whereas everybody else needs to think outside the box, and that's what Xbox really need. Like, do they truly believe that Halo and Gears is just this infinite? Like, this is just going to give you success because it's proven it hasn't. It's dropped over time. Like, people don't care about Gears, and you've really pissed off the Halo community. They were still hanging around with Infinite, and you've really burned their hand big time. You already did it with the Master Chief Collection. That released in a woefully poor state. That was the biggest spit in the face of like, here's our iconic franchise. Oh, they don't work. Like, and you were already on like your back, vulnerable, and you decided to bayonet yourself with that. And it's just like, yeah, I feel like you should be showing Clockwork as that first thing and fucking really heavily marketing that because You're not gonna get an experience like that on PlayStation exclusively from one of
No.
their studios. So therefore, trumpet that in the same way that Sony trumpets The Last of Us, because you don't get that experience on Xbox. And this is what you need to be. They're not honing in on stuff that you can get over there because that's nonsensical as a marketing tactic. Because then you'd compare the two and be like, meh.
I agree. Yeah, I thought it was such a bummer that the Spy game was canceled from the Coalition and they went back to Gears. It's like, dude, that Spy game would have been so sick. Or it could have been sick. Who knows? But yeah, I wonder. Like maybe it is copium, whatever, but I do have this feeling in my gut where it's like I think you're gonna see the logo like only on Xbox and PC or something, whenever Gears of War E-Day is revealed, because I just don't.
Yeah, they'll just bring back the console exclusive tag, right? Because PlayStation's already began doing that, moving towards that, right? Or is that just,
I have no idea.
or is that
I I,
rumored? They're
I don't.
backtracking from PC with
Yeah,
what Jason,
supposedly.
and therefore people are calling for the only on PlayStation tag to be brought back.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see the only on Xbox
Mm.
logo, only on PlayStation logo. Yeah. I wonder though, is it enough? Like if they say I have a feeling in my gut they're gonna say Gears of War E-Day only on Xbox and PC. But in my gut as well, I have this feeling of I think okay, here's what I think. Right now, just crazy out there predictions way too early. I think they're gonna say only on Xbox and PC for Gears of War E-Day. But I still think that there's going to be mixed messaging when we leave the showcase. Like I still think there will be certain games that don't have that, and then you'll have like I don't think there'll be a clear message from Asha Sharma or anybody saying like, okay, yeah, we're going to commit to our obligations to get Fable on PlayStation 5 day one because we've already committed to it. We're going to commit to getting Halo PS5 day one because we've already committed to it. But from this point forward, from 2027 forward, we're focusing only on Xbox and PC development. Like, I don't think there's going to be a clear message that sends people out there to go and be ready to invest in the next Xbox. And like that's the thing I wonder about because I do think you're right that you have to get that clear message out like sooner rather than
That should
later.
be her priority, though. You would hope, with that fresh set of eyes and your marketing expertise and knowing how a product is sold, they would be showing, surely, like, I obviously don't know how it works, but surely you're showing her the trailer as to what it will show, and when it gets to the end, she should be like, why does that show the competitor on there? Even if it's releasing, like, PlayStation doesn't do that. And they did that with The Expanse. Did you notice that in the showcase? There was
Yeah.
no PlayStation
Very
logo, even
odd.
though it's going to be on PlayStation. They're employing, like, this was always the thing of, like, PlayStation has always done that. They've never, for third party stuff, they don't put an Xbox because it does them no benefit.
No.
And that was with the thing with Phil of like trying to be the good guy of like everyone wins. And it's just like, that's cool. If you were in front and stuff like I respect like the want for everybody to win. I like that as a mindset, but in the realm of business, that doesn't work, sir. Like that
No.
just doesn't work. You need to snuff your competitors out if you want to be successful. And that's what like I hope when they're showing that stuff, there are no logos for that because if that's going to be the direction that they want to go, that is what you have to do, and that is
Yes.
the deliverance of message of and what she should be doing. If she's given that,
But
scrub it.
would that wouldn't be the message though, right? Because that would also be more mixed messaging where you would find out later it's on PlayStation, which is fine. I
Oh no,
agree
I
you
mean
should
like
do that.
delivering through with like don't put gears on there and stuff like that,
And
and
it's
that
stating that
yes,
publicly. Yeah, yeah,
being like
yeah. I agree you need to do
it's
that.
not moving that, and then for the third party stuff, don't put their stuff on it, and
Uh,
establish that as the same marketing ploy your competitor used because it clearly fucking works.
of
Every single
course.
time a PlayStation trailer drops in one of their showcases, you obviously have waves and waves of PlayStation play, like awesome, and then you'll have like one Xbox. Is this coming to Xbox? Kind of like screaming out into the void, and like that is it. You've suffocated your competitor, and that's what you kind of need to do. But yeah, they if they want to compete, they have to bring back exclusivity. If they want to
Yeah.
claw it back, and you need to make sure that that is your identity. No
Yeah.
more flip flopping, and yeah, it's what she needs to do, and it's what I think she has the ability to do because she doesn't have the ties to gaming. So therefore, she doesn't give a shit about like upsetting people in the way that
Totally.
like Phil did, because he's like, "Oh, I'm a gamer at heart. I don't want to let anybody down." It's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like Phil. I think Phil's probably a really good dude. Like out of all the
Yeah.
CEOs and executives, he's probably the only one I would ever want to have a conversation with. Like he would probably be a cool dude to get a beer with and just shoot the shit about games, but like he's the absolute he was the wrong guy for that job. Like it sucks to say it because
He'd
he
be a
is
cool like development head. I don't know what his
right.
skill set like. He
Yeah.
would be a cool like a Todd Howard
Right.
of kind of thing of being like, I love everything. And it's just like, ah, yeah, good man, we love you too. But like the head of an entire division, it's like you're too nice. Because like it's the same like Larry Herb. Like I love him, Major Nelson. I don't think he would have probably had the teeth in him as well. He's just he has such a nice personality
Yeah.
that when the chips were down, it is just the easy route to be like, well, we can just pivot to being a little bit of a publisher. And then once that Pandora's box is open, it's really difficult to shut it, as you can see.
It's yeah, I don't know, man. I think that whenever you want to be looked at as the good guy or whenever you want to be viewed as like and I understand when you're in a position of power, it's easier to be a dickhead and like who the fuck cares if, you know, nobody gives a shit if Hiroki Totoki is an asshole or not because it's like nobody gives a shit about Hiroki Totoki, period. No offense, but nobody gives a shit about Herman Hulst, period, other than people wanting him to lose his job. But like, and I get that. I kind of am in that boat as well. Like, I think Herman Hulst is weirdly maybe not the position or not the person for the position based on recent rumors and shit like that. But like, and you don't
Not
really
even just
want anyone
rumors,
to.
just decision making from him.
No, but I mean,
He's the
even
head,
like some
right,
of
at
the
the moment.
Hiroki Totoki is technically, but he's the head of first party studios. But like some of the rumors
Hmm.
of him viewing Concord as the next Star Wars and shit like that if that's true, he's got to go. Like genuine, and I hate to be so, but you can't
Reminds me.
like
Do you see the Todd Howard thing where they come out with like nobody says no to him? He
yeah
doesn't, and that feels like that. You have a lot of people in the industry that have climbed to the top, and then nobody. You just have yes men around you because they're probably
yeah
scared of losing their job. Is what a huge amount of it probably boils out of. Of like, there's cuts constantly each year. So if you're his friend, he might
you're
be
not
willing
getting
to stick
cut.
out a neck for you and stuff like that. And it's just like, dude, there's so many things that Todd should have heard no to. It was like, I know you're a huge fan of Star. There's so many flaws in Starfield that shouldn't have been there.
Totally.
Especially considering it your magnum opus, and it's such a huge step back in so many ways from Fallout 4 and Skyrim of like what your players would expect from you.
Exactly.
Like you've just been left with kind of like Peter Molyneux, where his fucking mind wandered, and he was just spouting stuff out in the time with Fable, and it's just like kind of need someone to like yank your leash a little bit and like keep you tethered to reality. And that seems like the same thing with Herman Holst if he's viewing fucking Concord as the next Star Wars. There should have been someone that stood up and been like, don't know about that, sir. Not sure
Yeah,
about that.
it's when you're running into that type of
I'll say it,
like
delusion.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. When you're running into that type of delusion, you just run the risk of destroying an entire brand
Mm.
that has been built up since 1994 and like you 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 got to go. Like you just do. You got to if that's your train of thought, if you're really at that level of thinking that Concord is Star Wars for PlayStation, then you need to go. And it's unfortunate because he seems once again like a decent dude, but you can't. That's irrelevant. Your personality, your human fucking characteristics. Like I don't give a shit if you can't conduct business to a level to understand that Concord is not going to be that, then I understand investing in it, sure. Taking a shot at it, see what happens, like nothing wrong with that. Even buying the studio, sure. Like you got to take risks. You're gonna fail, but to think that it's like that's the fucking game, that's the game to kill all. Like no, dude, you got to go.
It's the weird machination of thinking that what they don't understand is like Call of Duty didn't like Medal of Honor was on top for a while before Call of Duty overtook it. Like Rocket League wasn't an immediate success. Like Fortnite sucked big time when it first came
Yeah,
out. It was considered a PUBG clone because PUBG was doing what it was doing better than it before it overtook. But you can't just. It needs to manifest naturally. You can't will it into existence as being like it happens time and time and time again. Of you go in with the mindset that this is gonna kill this, the COD killer, this, that, and it just you can't dictate what a player base is gonna resonate with. They need to make that decision on their own.
yeah.
And then once that has manifested, fuck yeah, pump 400 million into it and make it some global franchise and the next Star Wars then, but no, not in the design phase, my boy.
Jesus, man. Yeah, it's just a. I don't know. I don't want to like. There's that's a full other episode we could get into.
Mm.
Just the state of PlayStation and Xbox and how to fix both companies. But it's I, PlayStation is just the benefit. They're the beneficiary of unbelievable luck, really, this generation, where they fucking lucked into 100 million people buying their console because it's like, well, what? Where else are you gonna? You're gonna go buy an Xbox and
They
you're gonna.
deserve it. I will give them credit. Like they built that shit up with the PS4 generation. They built a brand identity of narrative rich power like houses with remastering The Last of Us to make sure that people got their hands on it, and God of War, and then obviously what do you call it, closing the chapter with Nathan Drake with Uncharted 4. Like there was a level of quality that they were putting out constantly that Xbox never achieved. And not to shit on Nintendo don't hit on that level either. They on a fun factor, they dwarf it, I would argue, but not
Yep.
from what they were doing. Like they genuinely captured movies and made it appealing to people who like movies and games for most
Yep.
of their IPs during that generation. So like they genuinely do deserve what they did.
But how many of those have they delivered this
No, but
generation? That's the
that's
thing.
what I
It's
was
like,
getting at, is that they deserve that success, but you can't just then fucking ride off of that and be like, right, we got them all in this bag. They're not going anywhere ever again. Let's try and do this live service push. Here you go, guys. This is what you wanted. It's like, no, that's not what they bought into your ecosystem for. You're
yeah.
gonna piss them off big time. I do genuinely believe this. I know that you have like fickle movie fans and stuff. There's nothing worse than like a game. The gamers are so petty. They will
Oh
hunt
yeah.
shit down to the end of the earth. They do not forget. Like with people like moviegoers and stuff like that. You had like a period of time with Star Wars being shit, and then like you get the Mandalorian, like it's amazing again. Like kind of they forget it.
Yeah.
Gamers are just different, man, because they engage in the medium. They're not just watching it unfold; they're making it unfold. It's interactive. You're immersed in that stuff, and with Sony as well, you've built that immersion level storytelling to the point where people are interacting with your stories on such a deep, meaningful level. That's gonna hurt even more when you throw live service games fucking every quarter in the back of their head, hoping one lodges itself into the back of their skull and be like, "Yeah, this is great." Like,
Totally.
it's not what they bought your thing for.
Yep. And there's nothing at all wrong with investing in live service. I would be investing in it too,
Yeah,
but it's
but you
like you
can't
can't
make it your
make
core
it.
identity.
No, and you definitely can't have your key studios who got all the dads and moms and they got all the people in the door who wanted a cinematic experience and now you're like, "Well, hey, those studios are going to now make fucking mindless brain rot content." It's like, Nah, that's crazy.
Yeah, baffling.
But anywho, dude, I we could talk about that for another fucking 6 hours.
Yep. So we just have the game thing, which should be short. Is that good to finish off with? Can we
Yeah,
take a
sounds
quick
good to me,
break?
man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right. When we get back, guys, we will have a game that is the idea is to tackle it monthly, and we will see how well that goes. Um, but yeah, we have that tied up, so stay tuned. Alrighty. So, in the usual fashion, when we start recording videos and stuff like that, probably would have been a good idea to break down what you could have expected from this episode. But as per usual, ain't that kind of person. So what we have is when I was pitching the idea to Brandon, obviously we broached on news back when we did the podcast stuff. Talk about what we were playing and stuff like that. But you'd always, well, not always, but very frequently, obviously, you'd interject in with a game. So I thought we could have a game of our own. And what we have here is, funnily enough, kind of connects to digging out PlayStation for their poor mismanagement. We'll be building our own console, as it were. So, well, just picking out a name. And then the idea is each month we'll be picking a game that's releasing, so a real game, and then we'll be pitting, obviously, against each other each month. So as you can see on the screen in front of you, it's going to have a point system tally. So we're going to be using OpenCritic to determine what the points, so what it ends up getting critically. If it gets a 90 or above, it will get 5 points. If it lands in 80 to 89, you get 3 points, and anything below 79 is just 1 point. If it gets nominated for any Game of the Year award, so outside of the main overall Game of the Year award, so like say Best Action Game or whatever, you're going to get 3 points per thing. And that's going to be from Keeley's Game Award. Otherwise, there's
Just too
I don't
many.
want to fucking go be like, yeah, the Dice Awards, all this other stuff. And then if it actually wins the overall Game of the Year, then it will gain a 10-point buff, which obviously these are going to be retroactively added. So if it was, say, an April game that wins it, then you're going to add these up at the end. We're going to have one power up, which is I named it Stands, Please Stand Up. And your loyal fan base will insufferably defend the game and make it their own identity, doubling your point score. But this doesn't affect your Game of the Year points, if it gains any, because your fans have no power there. And then you have one debuff, which can only be used once per year, where you're going to send your grifters out. And this time it's going to remove 5 points, essentially review bombing the game. So, yeah, there we have it. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, this is so each month we both pick one game from
Yes.
the upcoming month.
Yes.
And then it's tallied in, well, I guess not 11 months, but it's tallied
Yeah,
up
we kind of had to begin
by,
it in April. Obviously, the,
right.
the idea would be to preferably do it in January. And I was thinking, can we like go back and, but no, you'd be able to kind of game the system that way.
So we're doing it for May, correct?
We'll do April because it's only 7 days. And
Okay,
when I was
okay, so
looking
do
through
April.
the games, there was only like one or two that we've missed out on, really. Like big name things that would have been potentially up for, like I think Darwin's Paradox
Okay.
was one, and then there was another game that escapes my mind. So yeah,
Let so let's say no Hades 2. Okay? That fair?
yeah,
I just think that that's kind of like if it's already released, we know the
that's
exact score it's going to get or a roundabout score. So that's just kind of boring.
Starfield. No Starfield, or
No Starfield, and yeah, there's probably a couple others on here that we can discuss if we end up picking them up. But yeah, yeah, damn, April's kind of stacked. All right, cool, let's get it.
so do you have a coin on hand? or
I
do I need to go grab? I do have one behind me,
you get
but
what about like the generator? The name generator. You put my name and your name on it and uh
yeah, we can quickly do
just
that.
hit that wheel spin and then that way the audience can see it as well. If it once again if it doesn't matter. I could easily grab
No,
a
I got
coin
it.
if
I
you
got
want
it.
me to.
It's not how you spell your name.
You still recording or did you pause it?
Yeah, I'm still recording it.
Okay.
I
So
got this.
yeah, April I I there's games coming out in April that I've been wanting to play for years, like Erebon Shadow Legacy. I didn't know was coming out in April. That's like the stealth third person game that I completely forgot about. Um, Masters of Albion is coming out in April. Peter Molyneux shit. Tides of Tomorrow, the Road 96 follow
Oh,
up.
he's typed. God, he really loves
Hmm.
Albion, doesn't he? Because that was the name
Yeah,
of the Fable
that's yeah.
world. Alrighty, we shall roll.
Let's ride. Yeah, yeah.
Who goes
Hold it
first?
dangerous.
Oh, that was so close. I will be
Uh-oh.
going first.
You going first? Got it.
um, hmm. Like you said, there's tons and tons of games. I do have a little list here. It's just whether or not it's just whittling it down, man. It's so
Mm,
because this is the balance is that it can. It's not just about it scoring big points, of course, because it could be something that lands in the 80s but wins a particular award that can kind of buff it and
mm.
stuff like that. Um, mm, I'm gonna go with I go Mouse PI. I think that could be a good little indie hit.
You just handed me the win for month one, my friend.
Did I? Did I overlook
Yeah,
something?
for sure.
That would be interesting to see what that is. Oh, we
Do you
didn't
want me
pick
to
our
go
we
ahead and
didn't pick
go?
our team names. We'll just
Okay.
we can do that. I don't have anything off the top of my head. Do you have a name that you wanted to use?
I was gonna go with Zenith, S- like Zenith. I think is that how you spell it. I believe that's how you spell it.
Zenith.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the like you know, kind of some fucking
Oh, do you know what?
futuristic.
I'm gonna go Project Scorpio. I'm gonna rob their name.
Yeah,
It
that is a
really
dope
pisses
name.
me off that they have the coolest like Scorpio. They have the coolest like project
Code
names, and
names.
then they always just
Hmm.
come out being like the Xbox One X, and it's just like, come
Yeah,
on, man, there's some weak stuff.
I throw project on mine as well. Project sounds better. Project Zenith. That's
Yeah.
I dig that. Um, and I guess it's like whenever I hear those type of words like fucking quantum zenith, like that type of shit just it feels futuristic to me. It
Yeah.
feels powerful and alien kind of technology. It's got that sort of I guess anything with a Z or an X or like, that type of shit just feels alien. I don't know why. So, do you want me to go ahead and go up or
Yeah, like I don't think it's going to be something that we're going to put like a ton of time into. It's just picking it.
perfect?
Unless it's something like if you drop the name of something and I've never heard of it, I will pick your brain on it. I feel like Mouse PI is not like an amazing pick. There was a couple in there, but it just feels it could be like a sleeper indie hit.
So mine is Soros for sure. I
Mm.
think Soros is probably going to be like a 89, 90. I think that's going to be one of the highest rated games of the year. If I'm not mistaken, Returnal is. So what's going to happen is like the people who loved Returnal are all going to be assigned to this review, and all the people who hated Returnal will not be reviewing this. So it's just got that built-in thing. Like if you look at Death Stranding 1 review scores,
Yeah.
they're way lower than Death Stranding 2 because people didn't know. So a lot of people who were assigned the review for Death Stranding 1 were Metal Gear fans. And then they go into it, they're like, ugh. And so, but they don't review Death Stranding 2. So the Death Stranding 2 reviewers are all Death Stranding 1 fans. And it's going to be the same thing with Saurus. People reviewing this are going to all be Returnal fans.
Mm.
And so it's going to be 89, 91 in that range. I'd say 87 to 91 is the range I'm expecting. Maybe even 87 to 92. This thing could hit like fucking crack, man. I don't it's not going to sell at all, but in terms of critical reception, it's a $70 roguelike. I
Yeah.
can't believe they're charging 70 for this. 49.99 max.
Yeah, it's why I was like banking on more of the indie-esque thing, hoping that I can grab like an award because I don't. Maybe Saros has the chops to win something, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. I remember like Returnal kind of coming out and like the people that played it really loved it, but didn't really. I don't even know what the sales figures were. It was quite low
Oh, it
for what it
barely
was.
reached a million. Yeah,
And again, with like asking, even with them telling them, going, yeah, what we've learned, we've applied it, and we're this bigger, better. They're gonna improve it. It's like you're still asking for like the same price as like the biggest dog AAA games. That's ballsy, man.
very much so, man. And it's also like I think that I think Soros will win Best Action Game of 2026. I don't know if it will be nominated for Game of the Year because it's just like you said, it's got such a small
Mm.
mainstream appeal attached to it that I don't know if it's going to have enough support to get into that camp. But I don't know what else this year is even in that realm of best action game. Is there something I'm forgetting that was?
I don't know, like the
Oh,
some
Control Resonant
yeah.
might actually get it. Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking even like Samsung as well, with them deciding to go on like a lower budget, not budget, lower price tag. They turned around and said, "Did you hear that?" Where he was like, "I'd
Yeah,
rather over
24.99.
deliver at a lower budget than under deliver at a $70 budget." And it's like, man,
Yeah,
that is a fucking amazing mindset to have because you would definitely rather like people wouldn't look as fondly on like the Remnant games if they were 70. Just having
totally.
a bit chipped off, it just makes it feel like the game is patting you on the back, going, "I got you, bro.
Totally.
I got your
Yeah.
back." And I think like Samson, if it isn't buggy and busted, could be really sticky because it's like all like hand to hand combat, right? Basically, and
Yeah.
driving and stuff like that. It
But they
just
give those games a tough break, critics. I don't know why. Like anything that is GTA adjacent, but not that level of production and budget and
mm.
dynamic world interaction, and like there's just such a expectation on those games. It's so unfair, man. But who knows?
So there we have it. Just a little short game that we can keep track of. I'll put it up one more time. Where we're just going to be competing with essentially role playing a CEO and seeing if we can do better than good old Herman Holst or the late Phil Spencer in running a company because we have bottomless pockets so we can grab whatever we want, you know.
So I'm Zenith, you're Scorpio.
Yep,
All right. Hell yeah.
there we go. And
Who's funding your console?
who's funding my
Where are you getting that funding from? I'd love
who
to see. Let me get Apple. I'd love to fucking try to take Apple to the. Do you? Let me ask you this. This is such a fucking silly. Like it's crazy to even have an ego the size of mine to believe this, but I genuinely do believe this. I genuinely do believe if you put me in charge of Xbox or in charge of like getting a console to the masses, if you put me in charge of getting games on that console exclusively and like picking out the right games, like being the tastemaker, I genuinely do believe I could get a console to like a mainstream audience. Is that way ego inflation, narcissism? Probably, but I don't know. I
what gives
whenever
me
I see
what gives me pulls for that is whenever you hear like you're not going to probably relate to this, but like football managers, when they get interviewed after getting sacked and stuff like that, and you obviously have a lot of people who are saying like, "Why did you pick that 11 players, and why did you buy this, and why?" And you realize that when they come out and they turn around and go like, "I don't get to choose who we sign."
Right.
Sometimes the owner also dictates who starts because they've spent 80 million pounds on that person, and that's who they want and stuff like that. I think that is probably the case for some of the CEOs. There's probably stuff where we look at it and are like, how the fuck did that fall through the cracks? And it's just like, well, because someone above them is like, yeah, this is happening because I want it to happen. I have power, and this is what I want. So I think there is a part of that. But if you're talking about like being able to identify games and stuff like that, yeah, absolutely. Like we have a, I think we both could do that. Like it must be really cool to, what was it, the PlayStation thing where they headhunt like little indie gems and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Them
Yeah, the
finding
Hero
like Scar
Project.
Studios, the guys who did Salt and Sanctuary, like they were on Xbox arcade stuff doing Charlie Murder, Dishwasher Samurai, and then they saw them do Salt and Sanctuary and they're like, we'll take that.
Yeah.
Like just being able to be like, you have the potential. You don't even need a huge budget. Like you can accomplish your vision with literally just, you don't have to worry about your bills at the end of each month. Basically, you
Right.
just need to be able to live comfortably. You don't need to be rich. You're in there for the project passion and stuff like that. But yeah, I think we could do a decent job. But you're
I
getting your
do too,
funding from
man.
Apple? You evil, the Sith. Even though I have an iPhone and I'm part of the problem. Yeah, I don't like Apple as like a philosophy for a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, I just think
But
they're the
who
only
else has the
company,
money?
in my opinion, they're like the only company that I look at and I'm like, how are you not that dude in the game space yet? Like you're there, but you're not there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because they're animals in the hardware space. Like when you think
Right.
about it, like it's literally Apple versus every other phone. Like every other phone's consolidated into, yeah, we're Android. Like you've cornered your own market to the point where you probably could put out something. But they do. They have their own like Apple Arcade stuff where they rip on games. I don't know if they have exclusives in a sense
Yeah, they
like
did
that,
for a while.
but I think that just shows like there's very, very little. Mobile gamers just aren't people like, there was that rumor like mobile gaming is going to take over the game. They are a completely different kettle of fish. Like
Yep.
I don't mean to dehumanize them, but they play Candy Crush and stuff. Like it's simple. You pick up the phone and you can put it down instantly, and there's no repercussions for that. You're not gonna
It's
be playing Resident Evil 2. It's available to buy. I don't know who's mad enough to sit there and want to play Resident Evil 2 on their phone with them touch controls. You're built different, and you have my respect, but that's insanity.
so if we were to flesh this out more, this would be my like one of my pitches to Apple is like we're gonna have a phone device that we sell that comes with a controller that simply plugs into your charger slot and it also charges your phone. Like some
Mm.
cool fucking way of doing that where you're not running out of battery. And of course, you would probably have to replace the batteries on the controller. It would be a whole ordeal, but it would just be something to say. If you want to play handheld gaming, we have that at Apple. Like we have the way to play handheld better than a PSP 2 or better than a Xbox ROG or better than a Switch 3. Like it's performant to that level. And you can also walk into Verizon and get it for $30 a month. Like just you already have the built-in audience. And if you were to say, okay, well, instead of on the iPhone, because it's essentially going to be an iPhone 18 Pro or whatever, but you upgrade for an additional $5 a month, and now it's a gaming device as well, built in with this badass controller. And, do we have some subscription service at that point? But I would invest in like making a storefront similar to Steam, but the first real prominent app on your phone where you can, because it would be a thing too where the phone you would buy would probably have like 2, 3 terabytes of storage. And so you could have all the fucking games. Of course, you're not going to really want to run Call of Duty on there or anything competitively, but you could have 12 single player games on that, and you'd still have plenty of storage for your photos and text messages and
So you're going to be funded by Apple. Is that what we're
yeah.
going with? We're going to go with Project Zenith, funded by Apple. Okay.
And I'd make a pitch too, like I would pitch for this mobile centric play, but also to have the Zenith as like the thing. That's the Apple core console, but you can still go buy it at your local retailers for cell phone products or also for Best Buy or, you know, CX or whichever, retailer, local retailer for the region. But having a mainstream console as well as trying to turn the phone into, because that's what everyone's doing now. Xbox is going to have their own handheld. PlayStation is going to have their own handheld. You literally have the handheld, which is the iPhone. It's the handheld that everyone owns. And if you were
So it's
just
going to
able
be a
to,
console and a handheld on
yeah,
offering, right?
well, it's just going to be your phone, but it comes with a controller that boots in, that plugs
Okay.
into your phone and charges your phone while you're playing the game.
Phone/console hybrid.
Yeah, phone slash handheld hybrid, where the controller will be. I guess I'm not a technical wizard, so this is something that I would absolutely be fucking.
You are literally what do you call it? You're fucking Steve Jobsing it. When the joke of him going in and what was it? Was it Bill Burr that did the joke where he's like, I want all of these vinyls and CDs packed into this tiny thing. Yeah, for 18 months, figure that shit out. And then he just walks out the room eating an apple and you're like, I'm never seeing my family again.
But it would have to be possible, right? To have a controller that charges your phone
Oh yeah, of course.
through
Yeah.
batteries, right? Like, wouldn't that be? I feel like that would have to
I
be
mean, with
possible.
Apple as well, like, yeah, the sky's the limit. You could have a fucking solar panel strip on the top and have it chart
Right.
like something crazy like that. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so it's like, because that's the one drawback, right? Where if you were to plug a controller into your phone and try to do premium gaming on an iPhone,
Yeah,
your
especially on an
your
iPhone.
phone would, yeah, it would die in like 2 hours probably, even at 100% charge. So it's like you would have to mitigate that. But yeah, so having the phone be like the probably the go-to thing that the most people are buying because it's just there. You're at the store, you upgrade for an additional $10 a month, boom, you're in the door. But also having the Project Zenith be a premium, big budget, $600-700 console.
Alrighty. I'm not going to be as glamorous. I I don't know who's going to fund my thing, but it's going to be mimicking like Acclaim Entertainment. We're going to do some batshit crazy PR stuff. Do you know who Acclaim is? Whoever
Yeah.
that crazy shit. There we go.
Hmm.
We're going to bring back Acclaim. Whoever the crazy madman was behind that.
Isn't it Jeff Jarrett now?
I have no. Are they even still around?
Yeah,
I thought they
they recently,
closed.
I think they booted back up. If I'm not mistaken, I think Jeff Jarrett is somehow attached to fucking Acclaim.
What the fuck? They filed for like bankruptcy. How are they back? Oh my god, yes. A group of
Yeah.
investors launched a new company using the Acclaim trip. Oh. Hey guys. There you go. I have a bunch of shadowy trenchmen with money, apparently.
Imagine having an Acclaim console, just dog shit games.
Hey, hey,
No
hey,
offense.
hey. They had such games. Oh, why are they gonna do that?
Yeah, hit me with those names. Such games
Well,
as
where'd you they're an acclaimed entertainment. They've been since '87 all the way up to 2004.
uh-huh.
So just pick a
What else you
year,
got
baby.
for me?
What year do you like?
Oh boy, fucking Acclaim. I mean, to be fair though, it
When
they
was GTA 3?
2001.
What were they putting out then? Oh, Ants Racing, Crazy Taxi, Dave Mirror's Freestyle BMX Max. Didn't they do the what do you call it? there was like naked women on one of them BMX games, and used his name,
BMXXX.
and he was like,
Jesus
"Don't do
Christ.
that," and they were like, "Okay, we'll remove it," and then they didn't remove it.
It's so
They're such a
crazy, man.
wild
It's
company, man.
bad shit, dude.
Oh,
Well,
Burnout,
fuck.
18 wheeler, Legends of Wrestling. See that? There you go.
Yeah, they've always been invested in the wrestling space. That's where I primarily know them from because they did wrestling games back on the NES as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Holy shit! They actually have their. I'm clowning. They had their fingers in like Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance too. They really got around.
Let's see. I'm looking at their game portfolio right now
That's
because I
actually
actually,
insane.
what is their uh
But these are like, did they actually? Yeah, they had actual studios that did that stuff. I was gonna say they weren't just a publisher.
mm-mm.
They
Oh
made
well,
such
yeah.
games such as Summer Heat Beach Volleyball. Oh, they did NBA Jam as well. They were part of that team.
Yeah, I know that they have like assist studios. They yeah, I mean they were prolific. They were very prolific, very popular,
Um,
but just not the highest quality typically.
well, I'm handling the quality, man. I'm handpicking that I'm buying out the games. They are just handling the marketing, and that we're gonna take headlines with such brilliant ideas as show us your speeding ticket for one of the Burnout games, and we'll give you a coupon.
I fuck with it, man. I fuck with
Or
it.
what was the other one? There was something to do with like gravestones. Like, yeah, they're just a crazy company. Go look it up. If anybody is like not familiar with Acclaim Entertainment, go look up Acclaim Entertainment controversies, and it is just pages of just batshit stuff of like, you guys must have been on coke the entire time. You do not make these decisions in a rational mindset. Like you
That's
were not
funny,
on this
man.
planet, and that is why I'll be partnering with them.
I fuck with it though. I like the risky, bold ventures out there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So there we have it. Um, the first game that I'll be picking is Mouse PI. You've gone for Saros. You're going to be funded by Apple. They're making a phone handheld console hybrid kind of thing.
Hmm.
I'm going to be with Acclaim. I'm just going to stick. I don't think they have the chops to make anything other than a standardized console. We won't make them think too hard. We'll let them just handle the marketing budget, and we'll make an Acclaim box, and it'll be critically acclaimed, of course. Everyone will love
Hey,
us.
we've seen crazier things, man. We have seen crazier things.
But there you go. That is the first return to the Rambling Achieve podcast. Um,
Absolutely.
we
And
will.
so you're planning these monthly, right?
The plan is to do it monthly. Obviously, the ideal scenario would be to try to get them out towards like the later parts of the month to give us buffer room for the upcoming month's releases. But it's not gonna, like, if it happens like this, like a weekend, it's not the biggest. It might
Perfect.
eat a title or two that maybe you would have chosen, but it's not the biggest deal breaker in the world. But yeah, there we have it. 3 hours of just fucking rambling, as
It's
you
been
would expect.
achieved.
Exactly, it has indeed been achieved. Brandon's channel, of course, always, as always, be in the description below. So make sure to go check that out. There's amazing stuff. If you want to join a Discord with like-minded gamers such as yourself, pop a comment down below, and I'll hit you back with the link. We will be running. It's April now, so a voting process for May's event will start in the next week or so as to figuring out what the hell that is. Have no idea. Haven't asked anybody yet. But yeah, there we have it. Any parting
Shit, shit,
words you
man.
wish to
Yeah, man. I
convey?
hope y'all are enjoying the old Vigi games. I hope y'all are looking forward to Starfield as the title you should be picking up today. As soon as I hop off here, I gotta handle some shit at work, and I am immediately, as soon as I finish that, heading to GameStop to pick up that beautiful copy of Starfield on the PS5. Gonna boot that up, and I think that's probably going to be my Well, I mean, Mouse PI for Hire, I definitely want to play, but Starfield's going to be my main driver through April. I'm really, really excited to replay that fucking game. I loved it so much when it came out, so I'm pumped, man.
It's just getting the little update with today's launch, right? The big expansion DLC is not out.
I think it is. I think
Oh, is
that
it?
the Terramana or whatever, I believe
Oh, okay.
it's I think it's
The
coming
fuck
with the
was
game
the
today.
lanes thing, or is that coming with it as well?
I think they're both coming with it.
Oh,
I
okay.
could be wrong. I haven't really kept up much with it at all. I'm
Mm,
I'm just gonna play through the main campaign again, and then I'll do the DLC and stuff later.
yeah,
Um,
because that looks,
but
if I'm being honest, like one of the big things that was missing from the game is like being able to actually travel between planets and just making the space, because the combat was serviceable
great.
and
Yeah,
stuff
the
like
best
that,
they've ever
and
had.
fun, but there wasn't really much point in going past that. So it's good to see that they're building on it. Hopefully, it gets the second wind it does deserve, and they can listen to feedback and channel the inner Pale Abyss and chip
It's
away at it.
That's the thing, man, is like the combat, it's better than anything they've ever made before. It's a lot of the things that people hate about Starfield is kind of what I like about it, which I know isn't, I guess, not a great fucking tagline there, but like I don't want a Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallout. Like I want a Mass Effect out of it, and you can get a really good Mass Effect out of that game if you just ignore a lot of the bullshit. There's a
Mm.
lot of bullshit, but it's like I don't want to do that anyway. I wasn't gonna do that. That's dog shit content. That's not for fucking. That's just filler for the sake of filler. But like the actual quest lines and shit, the faction quests and companions, like there's some really cool shit there. So I'm pumped to just jump back into all that, man.
Awesome, awesome. I will be juggling Crimson Desert. I've started Tales of Berseria remastered. What else have I got going? I always have so much shit going on at once. I started playing Skate 1 again, which is something that I hadn't
Oh,
like I
cool,
played a
dude.
good amount of Skate 3, but never did like the original Skate.
That's
Do
fun as hell.
you know something I really do miss before we hop off? EA, early EA FMV, like
The
Need for
intros.
Speed, fucking Skate and stuff. Like it's so cheesy and so corny, but I love it. Like it took me by surprise. Like when I booted it up and I was like, oh, this is like just Jackass. This is
Yeah,
it's just Jackass. This intro. That's amazing.
it was so fun, man. I miss that shit as well.
Mm. Right, there we go. Hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you hopefully next month.
Appreciate you guys. Goodbye.
See you later.